shit.
Well,
it's not a big deal. I go back and I erase the oldest ones. That way, if you for some reason want to download the newer ones, you can.
Well, I mean, it's like it posted to YouTube still, right?
It's still posted to YouTube. It's just very easy to download from StreamYard if you want to. Way easier than trying to rip it off of YouTube. It has a download button. You can go in and look at all your old broadcasts and just click download, and it just download directly to your computer.
Does StreamYard have a way to post things to like BitChute or DLive or places like that?
You have to check and see. You have to go in and see where your sources are. Or not sources, but they call them something to see where you broadcast to. And you can go in there and you can broadcast to like Twitch. You can broadcast to YouTube. I broadcast to YouTube and Facebook simultaneously because you can pick two places to broadcast to. If you pay more money, you can broadcast to more than one place at a time. But I don't know what all options they have. They may have grown the options since the last time I looked. So maybe you can post.
I've been thinking about like doing a dual cast, not to Facebook. At least if I was going to do it to Facebook, it wouldn't be to my Facebook. I'd have to make a new Facebook and start it or whatever.
Yeah. Or you just make a Facebook page. It goes to my page. It doesn't go to my personal account.
Right.
So,
but yeah, but like I don't know. I just feel like we're going to get taken off of YouTube sooner or later, sir.
I mean, maybe.
I think we should start one new channel, like with Matt on it, and like it's all about cars or something. Like pick a different topic, but we have the same style chat as a backup plan. Make a couple episodes of that, get people to go subscribe to it, and just always keep that in the back pocket. Maybe nerd stuff.
That's what the geek chat was, yeah. I've got that whole second channel that I don't actually have. I have a third. I have three channels that two of them I do not use.
Well, that second channel has been tainted with guns and political speech.
Yeah, but I can erase that anytime.
But if you started fresh, then the algorithm would never know, right?
Well, I don't think it's been tainted yet. It's different. So
it had Honda talking politics on it. It's been tainted.
Well, I mean, that was the first time I went to your on your channel. Was
well, yeah, it was when I was
when you were Mr. Matt.
Yeah, because I had lost access to my other channel,
and everybody had abandoned you, and you were looking for new friends or whatever. I'm assuming. I'm just kidding.
No, the rotation, it goes through. You know what I mean? I don't know. People come and go. Not everybody, but
I came and went.
I feel like I elbowed my way in, and some people didn't like that.
I don't remember I honestly don't remember how you got on the chat. I know you asked, but I don't remember.
You'd given someone else, like, okay, you were like, yeah, if you want to come on the chat anytime, you can come on the chat. And someone came on the chat, and they were just like, ding, I like guns, ding. Yes. And I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I could do better than this high and drunk, which I think I've proven.
I think we both have, Honda.
I think one of the first things I said to you was, if I remember correctly, because I had said it to several people around that same time, because there was new people coming on the chats, was something along the lines of, dude, just jump in, say what you want to say, just add to the chat. That's all I ask. Just add something to the chat. Please don't just sit there. Because I had a string of people who came onto the fucking chat and would just sit there and not say anything and not add anything to it. And that's back when we were still doing the Google Hangouts. And so I had a cap of how many people could be in there, 10. I used to give a shit about that. And I'm like, look, if you're going to take up one of these spaces, you need to add to the fucking chat. So.
Also, not having a pet hobby to talk about that is like the most annoying thing on the planet helps too. The flat earth is real, man. The moon Nazis know.
No. Tonight we're going to talk about blood memory.
That one was good.
I wonder where the blood memory, what is the blood memory guy doing right now?
I don't know. Who knows?
Can we brainstorm? He's sitting around in a trailer park.
On the John right now.
He died of a meth overdose, or B, his black friend that he told all this shit to all the time finally kicked his ass.
Whooped his ass. Yeah.
Tim, you aren't really watching.
Well, my best friend's black. I tell him this stuff all the time. Do you now, motherfucker? Really?
I was just thinking he's sitting around in his trailer park in his underwear with a ketchup stain on the front.
And a spam can in his hand with a spoon.
And he's fucking melting some methamphetamine in his dirty spoon, ready to inject it into his vein. That's what he's doing.
Yep.
Man,
Guy
Well,
that comments, we don't know how Stone Guy is. He disappeared years ago.
we
Who
here
knew-
at the whatever
knew
this
that
is
we had-
podcast would like to say, do not do IV drugs, kids. They're bad.
Who-
Okay?
Drugs are bad,
Who-
okay?
Who knew that we had Hunter Biden on back in the day?
Mhm.
Yeah, right?
Man, Hunter Biden took a lot of different hats, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Fucking Hunter Biden. What's he doing right now? Sitting around in a trailer park in his underwear with a ketchup stain.
Spoken
Hey,
Lord knows
listen.
what.
It's the same guy.
Don't hate on the ketchup stains,
He's,
all right?
he's
Those
being a
sometimes
Parmesan
happen.
connoisseur.
Wait. What was that? Is that a Duke?
What's up, baby?
Duke.
Apparently that's
You're
true.
awake?
Yeah,
What the-
baby.
He's,
What's wrong?
he is awake.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah. You didn't know about it? Oh, man. Had the day off. Oof.
you
got
take
the day
an
off.
extra long nap?
Yeah, you know what? I'm good, baby.
You know why Duke's awake right now?
Why?
I don't know.
Because he's sitting around in his underwear with a ketchup stain.
Sitting in a beanbag. He called me right out. I got all kind of worried. I still got 88 in the back of my name.
Good.
So what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing tonight?
I saw Venom 2 today.
Was it good?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Jolly good.
So you saw it too. That's good.
Yeah, I saw it. I think the first one's better. This one, basically, to me, I don't know, I could be wrong, just felt like a whole bunch of setup for the end credit scene.
Kind
That's
of. Yeah.
I mean, I know like, Carnage was fine. Woody Harrelson is a fine actor. He's not at all who I would have picked to play that character.
Can you give me a
I
spoiler?
feel like there wasn't enough carnage in it.
You know, it just, see, Carnage, when he showed up in the comics in the early 90s, like,
He was not a good guy.
Well,
well, that's obvious. He's a serial killer, but
Yeah.
he quickly became like my favorite Spider-Man villain. Like,
Yep.
he was awesome. Venom was just pure evil in a way that nobody on Spider-Man fought was. For a couple reasons. One, because Cletus Cassidy was pure evil. He was a fucking serial killer.
Yeah.
And Carnage, unlike Venom and some of the other symbiotes, Carnage was created in Cletus Cassidy. He had nothing before him. Whereas like Venom and the other symbiotes had been other symbiotes before, like attaching himself to Peter Parker. He had a personality. Carnage's entire personality was wrapped up in being a symbiote for a fucking serial killer. And so he was just pure evil. And so I have high expectations for that character. And he was fine in the movie. Shriek didn't make any sense to me because in the comics, Shriek is a symbiote. That's why she has her powers. I don't know. Was she supposed to be a fucking mutant in this? I don't know.
I was kind of wondering the same because at the end, and not trying to give too many spoilers, but what's his name is definitely going to become Toxin or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, how? Because there was no symbiote transfer that we saw. So I don't know.
Not that I saw. So I don't know. It was, look, there was some really cool stuff. I like the back and forth interaction between Eddie Brock and
I
Venom.
love that part.
That's always good. It was just as good as it was in the first movie. There's a lot of good stuff. A lot of nice little laughs. Venom is a great character. Anything that had to do with Venom or Eddie Brock was great. I love the way Venom is just like he was like, what's the day? He's like, Dan, you take care of yourself too. You know, that kind of shit.
I feel he was more of a hint.
Yeah, like Venom is fucking funny. Venom and is funny. His interactions with Eddie Brock is funny. I like the way he likes the lady that works at the fucking convenience store. Like, there's a lot of good in it. The Carnage story was side of it was kind of what let me down a little, and then let me down, but it could have been better.
Dude, that sucks. Because like Carnage was, like you said, was always one of my favorites, and they like fucked it up. And the other one that they fucked up that was always one of my favorites, and I might catch hell for this, but I didn't like the movie. I just thought the movie was crap.
Mm-hmm. Spawn was good for what it was.
For the time that it was made, there was no other options. You're right. Yes. But like it didn't age well.
Movie, but it is one I still kind of like to watch sometimes because I like to watch it for the. I'll tell you, the special effects were great for 1996.
Oh, they spent the money.
Yeah,
his Spawn suit and everything was fucking awesome.
See, I saw that when I was like 9, and the clown. And I'm not have a clown thing, but like the part about going to hell and all that was just real creepy.
I had read the comics from the very beginning. It's
Right.
on, so I knew exactly the story going in. I was fucking excited.
That was just,
and I also wasn't 9.
Yeah, I was young, and that was harsh. It's a hard, superhero. I was excited.
Young Duke was kind of freaked out by the clown.
I can see that, and then the clown morphing into Malbosia, or not Malbosia.
I really can't. I can't stand to watch that now. Like I could if I wanted to force myself, but I would never watch Spawn for the pleasure of it.
Yeah, it's like a hard movie to watch. It's like it's like watching The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Yep.
Like, you watch that once just to get messed up because everybody talked about it. It's not something you can just sit down like, I'll pop it back on.
Right. No, I mean for me. That's really not hard to watch because if anything, it teaches you a lesson. Hey, maybe don't hang around in fucking prisons.
Stephen Carroll dropped in a super chat. And he says, I have nothing to add to the chat. I just want to annoy Matt. Mind if I join in? Yeah, sure. Send me a message on Discord. Link in the description below. If you're not joined there. Send me a message, and I will send you a link. Sure.
But yeah, Venom was good. I enjoyed it. It's a fun movie.
I'm
but
curious
I think the
to see
first
where
one
it goes.
was better.
Yeah, I'm curious as to where it goes from here.
I knew that because there were already leaks coming out that the end credit scene was going to do what that did. Not exact like the exact play-by-play of the scene, but like that it was going to prove that Eddie was going to end up where he ended up.
I had heard that too, but it was just good to see it. You know?
That now tells me that everything we're hearing about Spider-Man is probably true too.
Yep.
So,
what are we hearing about Spider-Man?
Oh, you want me to just tell you? Everybody
would like to know.
Everybody who doesn't want to hear about the end credit scene of Venom Let There Be Carnage, plug your ears for, 20 seconds, give or take, starting now. At the very end, there's a big rumble and the whole room shakes that he's in. He's in a motel room, and I'm not going to explain why. And the lights blink and all this stuff happens, and it goes from night to day outside, and all of a sudden now he's in the same hotel room, but it's slightly different. And on the TV is J. Jonah Jameson talking about how Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So he's now in the MCU.
So he got incorporated in
and I think it's from, we've all seen the trailer for Spider-Man. That thing happens in the trailer with Doctor Strange that breaks the multiverse.
Yep.
So I think it's at that moment that's what happens to him. He gets pulled in like everybody else does. So anyway.
So he got pulled in with Dr. Octopus.
Dr. Croctopus, yes.
One would assume, yeah. So
because he shows up and knew Peter Parker, and Peter was like, what in the...
Yeah.
Right? But it was the different Peter Parker, so how would he know?
Yep. So that's and I'm very excited for this because we need that. I'm not going to go into details, but anyway. So that's the end credit scene. That's what happened, and so he's there. But anyway.
Thank you for letting me not be spoiled.
There you go. See,
Paquito Jesus. I like it. I like saying it like that instead of Little Jesus. Says Hunter Biden is doing coke and selling expensive art right now.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that's what he's doing. But
yes.
What else?
Hey, man. Some guys can do it, and some guys can't. I guess.
Depends on the connections you have and who your daddy is. Who's your daddy?
My daddy.
I wasn't saying you specifically. Just saying, if your daddy's not fucking someone rich and expensive and, all that stuff, then no one gives a fuck about your art unless it's amazing.
I don't know. I've sold shit that I would consider art for a bunch of money.
Stephen Carroll says, I feel like a proper Carnage movie needs to be rated R. I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
I do too.
And look, and there's a lot of, as you know, Angry, there was a lot of implied, violence, but because it was PG-13, it wasn't you would see a lot of instances where you would see Carnage holding somebody up, and it would show the back of their head, and then the camera would kind of pan up to Carnage's face, and then you'd see Carnage's head go out of frame and obviously bite their head off, but you wouldn't actually see them bite their head off.
It needs to be like a mixture.
An arm come out and you know it stabbed somebody, but they pan the camera at the last second, so it's like,
It needs to be a mixture of like the movie Hostel and like Carnage.
Well, and it should be because he's a fucking serial killer.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's brutal, and that was, like I said, that's
Dude, that's
why
what the comic
I
was.
liked him
The
when he
comics
showed
are
up.
brutal.
Yeah, because I mean, Venom was a bad guy, right? Like Venom and Eddie Brock were bad guys, but they weren't pure evil. Venom and Carnage were driven by Brock was driven by jealousy
And revenge.
and anger and revenge, and Venom was driven by basically revenge for being dumped, essentially. I mean, because that's essentially what happened. Is Peter dumped him. Peter got, he essentially, Venom became one with Peter Parker, and essentially loved him, and then Peter got rid of him, and he felt like probably like a jilted lover, like so they were both driven out of revenge. Carnage wasn't driven out of revenge. He was just a fucking psychopath. Like, he was a psychopathic serial killer.
Yeah.
And he was just a cooler villain. So,
how much food do you think the average house has on hand? Asks Daniel.
Less than 3 days.
Yeah, I would say, it depends on who they are, but I would say anywhere from 3 to 5 days, give or take. Certainly less than a week. I don't think the vast majority, 90 to 95% of homes in the U.S. has less than a week's worth of food.
Dude, I know for the longest time, I didn't have any food in the house except for maybe the next like 2 or 3 meals that I was planning on making.
Yeah.
And like some leftover Chinese food in the fridge. And like,
don't you feel better now? Isn't there just like something in the back of your head that just feels you got some comfort going?
Yeah.
Because it just, if anything happens, you know what? That's one less thing I have to worry about.
Well, dude, I'll tell you this. Like, there was a long period of time where, like, I'm a fairly proud person. Like, I have probably been at the point where I qualified for government assistance for food stamps or something like that, and could have used them, honestly, but just never, ever did it. And, like, there were times where I would just skip meals because I didn't have money to buy food and stuff like that, so I just go to bed hungry or whatever, And part of that was self-imposed because of other choices that I was making. I don't want to make it seem like I'm like, but at the same time, like, there was a point in time when that was true. Like, I'd take the kids to McDonald's to get them dinner because I didn't have any food in the house, and I only have like $4, so they each get a double cheeseburger. We're splitting a fry for both of them, and they get waters. And I'm sitting there looking at them eat, hoping that they don't finish their entire burger so I can get a bite. Like, that was a reality at a point. And yeah, like, it's a completely different, it's so nice, like, looking in the freezer, and I've got like more food than I could eat if I just sat down and just started stuffing myself for the next week. So, you know what I mean? Like, I could just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat.
So I'm getting ready to buy a bunch of prep stuff, and I think I'm focusing on food, silver, a backup electrical power system that can handle what I need to do, and maybe like a bow and arrow or something like that. But that's not really a prep. That's kind of a toy. I don't know if that counts.
Counts as both.
Ammo.
Arrows.
No, I'm saying ammo is a good one to add to that list.
He probably has a ton of ammo.
I don't have any ammo or any modern guns anymore. I threw them in a boating accident, gentlemen.
Well, there you go.
It does happen like that sometimes.
Sometimes it does.
So has anybody bought a generator yet?
I've got 2.
I keep looking at that Jackery thing I was telling you about.
The answer's no, Matt. I haven't fucking done it yet. It's been slow at work, and I don't want to be like spending more money than I have coming in.
It's on its way.
When I had like
What'd you get?
The same one you did.
Oh yeah. All right. Cool.
Which
Did
one
you
you
get
got?
like a really
dual
good
fuel,
week,
or
I'll
did you
buy
get
it.
the other one?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Did you get the dual fuel, or did you get the gas only?
I got the dual fuel because we don't use the propane, but there's a lot of propane out here.
Yeah.
And that's an option. And like my in-laws use propane, and if we ever had to go over there long term, it would be a good idea to have that to add to whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just one of those things where not only is it good for me to have for shit hit the fan, it's just good to have in general. You know,
Yeah.
like my wife is pregnant, so like this winter, do you think I want to have like my wife, you know what I mean, without heat? Like I'll be
Yeah.
fine, you know. And if it was just her and I, but her and my son and stuff, like that's just a good thing to have on hand.
Yeah.
If the world doesn't end in the next couple of weeks.
And propane is way easier to store than gas.
Yeah.
So, well, it's more stable anyway. So, but I like to store both. But yeah, we've got I think I've got 5 of those. What are they? The 20-pound propane bottles.
You know what I did? I just years ago I bought 2 gas generators. 5,500 watt generators, and I just got the $100 attachment. You just attach the carburetor that lets you use propane.
Yeah, the tri-fuel.
The tri-fuel adapter. Because honestly, I could spend like $300 more for a generator that does the same thing at the same wattage, or I could just buy the adapter and save myself like $200. And I did that for both of my generators, so I'm good. But I have to have generators because I live in a hurricane area. You do too, but they don't hit you as often as they hit me.
No. We got Florida usually blocks us, or the Yucatan half the time.
But
we got
there
that
has
mouth
been
that they
a
gotta
couple.
get.
There has been a couple lately that just went quite your way.
Yeah, but we still haven't gotten direct hit on one in several years now.
Well, that doesn't mean it won't happen.
Oh, I know.
It just means you got lucky.
I have been the dude. I've been through multiple hurricanes down here, and I have never been worried at any of them. I enjoy. They usually come at a time of year when it's hot, and it usually cools down the area for about a week when they come through, and I've always enjoyed it. And then a couple times power goes out or whatever for a day or something like that, but nothing. Nothing major at all. And so I'm one of those people that I occasionally look. Oh man, if we can get a good tropical storm come in down here and cool shit off for a few days, I love that shit. Oh, great.
Are you? I know you've mentioned this before, but are you more so in the desert part of Texas? Or are you more in the
He's in Brownsville.
I'm in the tropical part of Texas. We have palm trees down here, palm trees and cattle and fucking
oranges.
Plenty. Citrus out the ass down here.
Texas has what, like three or four different kind of biomes right there.
Oh, God,
desert, grass.
I can simplify this for you, Night Strike. There's the good part of Texas, the shitty part of Texas, the okay part of Texas, and the bad part of Texas.
Okay, that's about right. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Saltgrass Steakhouse?
Yeah, it's like the most overrated thing ever.
Yeah,
at least I thought it was.
I worked there for like 2 months once, and I quit. Actually, that was a whole story. But they have their like saltgrass fed beef or whatever, fed steaks. Mm-hmm. Those are actually pretty good, dude.
They were good, but like I could cook a steak that tastes just as good at home for $7.
Right,
it's true. That's the way it always is when you go to a restaurant. Like I could do this for way cheaper.
Yeah, but like they charge like what was it, $49 something I paid for a steak. Like,
you get like the biggest fucking steak they had. Jesus.
No, I just got like a fucking like ribeye, I think.
Yeah.
Was it some of that Wagyu? Nah, Wagyu ribeye be way more than $40.
Yeah, dude, Wagyu. You couldn't even make it at home for that much.
Now that you mention it, I went and got some Wagyu burgers a while back. I cooked those on the grill. Those were fucking awesome.
Wouldn't it just be like fat?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. It probably was, but they were delicious. So if you see them, if you see anywhere that sells them, try them out. They're pretty awesome.
I don't spend that kind of money, sir.
On a burger, no. Like if I wanted one that was that, I'd just get some 70-30, and then you make like a half-pound burger and it shrinks down to like a quarter pounder.
Would you say that it is a tasty burger?
Yes.
Did you have some of someone else's delicious beverage afterwards to wash down said burger?
My girlfriend's a vegetarian, so that pretty much makes me one too.
Have you guys been looking at the
wait. Does your wife know about your girlfriend?
Oh, here we go.
You got to talk about it.
Have you guys been keeping an eye on the price of steak? Like when you go to the store and you're like, I want to buy some steak and look at like bulk steak packs or whatever, and you're like $150 or whatever for this shit. Holy fuck!
Yeah, it's
I just
gone
bought
up a
some
bit.
steak today. I bought some sirloin. We're gonna cook steak and potatoes tomorrow.
I mean, you can still find deals on it, but when it's like they're charging full price is a lot.
We got
Yeah,
some.
I haven't been keeping an eye on it, but I know everything's like. I know normal beef's been going up, so I figured steak probably has also.
We got some Angus, 4 Angus
Do you
sirloin
bake the
steaks.
potatoes, or what do you do with the potatoes?
I'm mashed potatoes.
Oh.
So I do what I call a rough mash, which I buy the golds. You can get the Yukon golds or get the little tiny ones, whatever you want, because the golds are much better in my opinion for mashed potatoes than russets are. They're a nice soft.
I disagree, but
flavorful
go on.
potato. And what I like to do is I rough mash them. So I go through, I wash them off, cut off all the bad spots. You know, if there's any eyes or rough spots or whatever. And
What about
then I chop them up.
like fried potatoes?
No, well, these are different. I mean, I wouldn't use those for like baked potatoes or anything. But you get them all get them all the bad spots cut off with your little paring knife and get them washed up and just chop them up and throw them in there, peels and all. And then when you're done, you mash them. Add some heavy whipping cream, a little butter. I like to throw in a little mayo and surprisingly enough, some buttermilk ranch dressing. Mix that shit all up into the creamiest fucking mashed potatoes.
Dude, you fucking Texan ass motherfucker. You guys find all kinds of weird shit to put in your shit. Ranch dressing and mayonnaise.
Dude, I fucking blow
I've never done
the
mayonnaise, but I
shit.
put ranch in my potatoes before.
I've never put either of those things in my mashed potatoes.
Because you're fucking from Colorado, and that's why. That's
I mean,
why.
butter, yes. Like salt, pepper, garlic, heavy whipping cream, sour cream, yes. All of those things. Chives. Yes,
No, but you're talking about okay. You're differentiating between a fucking a topping and an ingredient. I'm talking about ingredients.
No, you mix chives in with the mashed potatoes. It ends up delicious.
That's not an ingredient. That's a fucking.
It's a
topping.
goddamn ingredient.
You may mix it up in there. It's a fucking topping. Chives are a topping.
If you put enough chives to change the flavor, then yes, it is an ingredient.
Then it becomes an ingredient. If you're making mashed chive potatoes,
yes,
but. Anyway,
dude, we're gonna have a mashed potato cook-off one of these days.
Yeah, and I would.
Everyone shows up to the potluck with their mashed potatoes.
I would win every time. If you're just gonna be boring and put no fucking flavor in your mashed potatoes, I'm telling you right now, you put a little fucking Japanese mayo, just a little bit, and then some buttermilk ranch dressing in your potatoes, and then you start mashing them up with the heavy whipping cream and the butter. And if you're some fucking savage fucking low life that puts fucking milk in your goddamn mashed potatoes, you do not know how to fucking cook.
No. I feel like your mashed potatoes are gonna give me mashed potato Rhea.
My mashed potatoes will be the thickest, creamiest, richest fucking mashed potatoes with the most amazing flavor that you will ever fucking taste. My mashed potatoes are the fat bitch of mashed potatoes. Okay, these are the mashed potatoes that fucking have so much fat and are gonna fuck your cholesterol up so fucking bad because they're so fucking rich and full of fucking flavor. You're like, this has got to be bad for me. And guess what? You're fucking right. It's bad for you. That's how good they are. Making some fucking bland ass milk toast mashed potato. I'm gonna put milk in my mashed potatoes.
No, you put a little bit of heavy cream, not milk.
You only use heavy whipping cream. That's it. You don't use milk.
And sour cream,
grass-fed Irish butter.
Cream cheese works pretty well too. You can add a little bit of cream cheese in there. Gives a good flavor.
Cream is a topping, not a fucking ingredient.
Okay? It is an ingredient when you whip it in and it changes the flavor.
Because
shouldn't put ranch in there either. It's the same exact fucking thing, dude.
And it's going to actually add flavor. It's all about flavor profiles. You've got garlic in there for a little garlicky flavor. You've got buttermilk ranch for a little bit of tang. You've got mayo to help smooth it out. You use heavy fats, heavy whipping cream, and full fat grass-fed butter only. Use some of that Irish butter. Don't use that bullshit fucking Land O'Lakes bull crap. It's about adding fat and flavor to mashed potatoes.
Oh, and cheddar cheese also.
Cheddar cheese is a great topping.
Cheese to your no, again, you mix it in with it and melt it in, and it changes the color of the mashed potato. It's like kind of like this slightly orangey.
Unless you're eating cold mashed potatoes, you add that later.
Oh my god!
You don't add that up front. Mashed potatoes are a base, dude. Then you have the ingredients. Somebody wants sour cream, they put a little sour cream on it. They want some chives, they put chives on it. Okay, they want some cheddar, the cheese, they fucking put cheese on it. You don't mix that shit in.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
This is how I know you're not a good cook.
Oh, whatever, dude. Fuck you. I make some goddamn delicious ass food. It might not be up to what's the average weight of the Southern Texaner around you?
It's a solid 250.
Yeah.
It's a solid 250. I'm just saying. There's a reason for that. It ain't because the food sucks. So
No, it's not. I might have to hit you up for some recipes, Matt.
I'm telling you.
Apparently, you invoked Savage with that milk statement. I don't know if that means that he puts milk in his mashed potatoes or that he doesn't and he's staunchly against it, much like you.
I'm just saying fat is flavor. Okay, this is why Wagyu beef tastes good. If you're adding milk instead of heavy whipping cream, you're denying yourself more flavor. There's more fat. There's a more full-bodied, creamy flavor in heavy whipping cream as opposed to milk. Milk is watered down whipping cream, heavy whipping cream. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, I like skim milk.
Be a man.
Jesus
Eat a potato
Christ.
like an apple.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, I knew a guy who ate a banana, like the whole thing, like the peel and all.
Ugh.
He ate the whole thing.
Dude, my grandpa, my grandpa used to eat onions like an apple.
Well, isn't that how in the potato famine the parents lived and the children died because they thought if they gave the skins, the parents ate the skins and they gave the insides to the children, and the skins are better for you.
Well, yeah, because that's where all the nutrients are.
That's true.
Yeah.
The fucking inside of the potato is just carbs. It's just filler.
Yeah.
That's all it is. The nutrients are in the skin.
Oh, I remember hearing that story when I didn't want to eat the skins or something as a kid.
Yeah. No,
Like,
because
y'all gonna
You
eat
don't want to eat the skins, boy. You're gonna die.
Yeah. I remember a lot of that talk around the table with the old people.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you better finish that sandwich.
Back in the potato famine days, you would have
Yeah.
died, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, Savage says, he said, if you're a savage that uses milk. So I'm just going to act like it's a call out every time I hear that word.
Yep.
There you go.
You're a savage if you. I don't know. I can't think of it.
Yes, I did, motherfucker. Skim milk. Skin milk? No, I did not say skin milk. What?
You know,
That's a different kind of milk.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're on a diet, then cool, use skim milk. If you're trying to make good food, use heavy whipping cream. That goes for potatoes. That goes for macaroni and cheese. That goes for anything that the box says, put milk on this. No, bitch. Heavy whipping cream only. It will make it taste better. Okay? Jesus.
So I was at work this morning, and we've got these 18, 19, 20-year-old food runner dudes who they're cool kids. They're good kids, but they're kids, and I like to fuck with them. And this dude brings out a side of queso, and he's like, I don't know where this goes. And I look at him. He's got this bowl of queso, just like this white cheese sauce. It's all creamy and thick, like you're talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that looks like it felt good. And he goes like, what are you talking about? And he looks down at the cheese sauce, and I'm like, well, you filled it up. And then he understood what I was saying and got so embarrassed, and his face turns red, and he just
First of all, that's a great story. I love to fuck with young kids like that. Second, can we roll it back, man? And you said queso?
Yeah, queso.
Queso, like Kayso.
Queso.
Okay. All right, just checking.
How do you say it? Queso?
Queso.
Queso?
Queso.
Queso.
What's the difference between queso and queso?
Salsa.
Queso.
Salsa.
Nicolaj.
Salsa.
Nicolaj.
I like tamales too.
Nicolaj. Nicolaj.
Seltzer, salsa. Salsa, seltzer.
Seltzer is different than salsa, but okay.
But it sounds very similar.
Salsa.
I had a Bavarian lady order her steak well done, and then I, got her well done steak.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted it where?
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 Oh, so she said
Like
you
the
thought she
wolf,
said
but
well.
different.
You thought she said well, but she was saying where.
She was saying rare,
But yeah, with the
but where. It sounded like well to me, dude. And I even repeated back to her, well, and she goes, yes. And I go, okay.
all right.
She was all mad when her steak came out well done. Sometimes shit happens. Savage says, to sum up NEA statement, if you're okay being or becoming a fat fuck, cream. If you don't need a mouth orgasm every time you eat, use what you want, because the end of the day, food is fuel.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I guess it also depends on how you eat, right? Like, I'm not a snacker. At most, I might eat 2 meals a day, right? So I like to enjoy the food. Sometimes I only eat once a day. So I want to enjoy my meal. I want my meal to taste as good as possible. So there you go. I don't know what to tell you. I cook. I cook a lot. So
I feel like when you go out to eat, Matt, you're just disappointed in everything that everyone does for you.
no, really, I'm not.
Because like compared to what you could make at home, and then you start like critique, like, oh, did you mix it like this? Did you add heavy cream? Like,
I honestly don't do that. In fact, to the point that my wife does. Well, and no, she doesn't do it that way. My wife, on many occasions, we have gone out to eat, Texas Roadhouse, fucking Chili's, fucking whatever, you name it, right? And we'll get whatever the fuck it is we're getting. And on more than one occasion, my wife said, how much did this cost? And I'll tell her, it's like, oh, it's $50 or whatever the fuck it was for the meal. And she's like, you could have made this better at home for like 10. And I'm like, I know, but we're going out. Well, like, my wife knows I cook better than most restaurants.
Like, when you go out, it's so that you don't have to cook. So
exactly.
Relax.
My wife's really frugal, so she's always got that in the back of her head. She's like, well, you can make this fuck like instead of going out to Texas Roadhouse, she's like, we can make steaks and potatoes at home. Like, you make that better than they do, so why don't we just do it at home and it's cheaper? And I'm like, well, that's not the fucking point. Like, the point is, I don't want to fucking cook all the time. I like cooking. I don't want to do it all the time. And also to just get out of the fucking house and do something instead of just be stuck in my kitchen,
Yeah, that's definitely true.
So
it's like when you do all the things that you're talking about, like, oh, well, you just got to do this, then that, then this, then that, then this, then that, then that. It's like, how many pots and pans do you think I have to wash at the end of that?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, exactly. And you don't expect, like, when you go to a restaurant, they're making good food, but they're also like, they've got a rhythm. They've got to be efficient. You know what I mean? Like, I can sit there at home and add 20 fucking ingredients to something. Like, when I make my chili at home, I made chili yesterday, right? Chili and cornbread. I don't expect the chili that I make that I eat when I go out somewhere to taste the way the shit I fucking sat at home and made is going to eat, because they're not doing that shit to the food. And why should they? They're not worried about making one meal, right? They're worried about making 50 meals as quickly as possible, as good as possible, but also as quickly as possible. So there are different levels to it. I am afforded time to do that stuff.
Tonight's chat is brought to you by Western Sun Vodka, the official vodka of Texas, apparently.
Well, not to be brutal, but tonight's chat is brought to you by Sky Vodka.
Oh,
which I don't know if it's the official vodka of Texas, but it's good. So there's that.
Where's Sky Vodka made? I don't remember.
San Francisco.
Oh, you're drinking gay vodka.
yeah.
So, I don't know. I just picked some up today. I haven't even opened it up yet. I'm going to in just a little bit. So.
Sorry, I'm making all kinds of noises here. I'm sorry. I couldn't mute myself. I could have, but I didn't.
You didn't want to.
Yeah, I agree with the you don't need to have a mouth orgasm every time you put a bite of food in it. And also, you don't need to have like a magical experience every time you go out and get dinner. Like,
well,
sometimes it's just dinner.
Here's the thing about like the whole mouth orgasm thing for me is I just think it's nice when it can happen. You know what I mean? Like, and if you can do something, especially like, I understand there's like different levels and shit, but like there's a lot of good food that you can make that tastes really, really good by doing just a few things to it that doesn't necessarily have to add,
I agree with that. And when it comes to stuff like that, I totally agree with, like, oh, you just add a little bit of this spice, you maybe make it a little extra crispy or whatever it is, like, yes. But when it's like, oh, well, you got to buy these 17 ingredients and mix it all in, otherwise
That's
you're
just for
not
fucking
never enough
potatoes.
ammo.
Well,
Oh,
you're
you don't
not.
have buttermilk and blah, 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 blah. Like,
Buttermilk ranch. It's a household staple, okay? I mean, Jesus Christ, you got to have some buttermilk ranch in your fucking house. I would say there's this one meal that my wife absolutely loves. It's delicious. And it's except there is heavy whipping cream in it. I will tell you this. Surprise is where you take like a head of cabbage and cook it up and get it real nice and soft. You know, get it cooked, good cabbage, and get yourself some good turkey meat and get it all broken up and nice, just plain turkey meat. They're not turkey meat, but you know what I mean, the ground turkey. And break it up just like you would beef. Add some spices to it, whatever you want, some garlic, stuff like that. Garlic, salt, pepper, whatever. I like to add a little paprika. Then you throw that in with the cabbage, and then you pour heavy whipping cream in and a little bit of tomato paste. Just a little bit of tomato paste to turn the dish starts to turn red, and then you add some garlic powder, and it's fucking delicious. And it's mostly just ground turkey and cabbage, and it's fucking great.
well, Matt, nothing goes with cabbage like cabbage.
It's true. And I'm not a huge fan of cabbage. Honestly, there's only a couple dishes that, although I really should, because my grandmother cooked cabbage all the time because they're from the old country, and apparently that's cabbage.
Yeah, dude, that's what we ate when I was a kid,
Yeah.
was cabbage.
I ate all cabbage all the time, and there are certain meals that I like cabbage with. In general, like I don't like fucking what the fuck am I thinking of? Coleslaw and shit like that. And there's just some stuff I don't like, but there's a couple of like good meals that I make. Like there's this one meal that I make where you take like the sausage, and you use whatever kind of sausage you want. I use just the generic skinless Oscar Mayer sausage. You get the big links. You chop that up, throw that in a pot with some chicken broth and some cabbage and some diced up potatoes, and then salt, pepper, garlic, paprika, and then just turn it into a nice cabbage sausage stew. Oh,
dude, what's that one sausage that comes in a package? It's like the sausage in the shape of a big U. Oh, what's that stuff called?
Yeah, that's the Oscar Mayer sausage.
No, but it's not Oscar Mayer though. It's something.
Kielbasa?
There's several brands. I mean, that's kind of the traditional packaging for the sausage is the big U shape. But I mean, the main one, the biggest seller in the store is the Oscar Mayer.
Oh, don't Google big sausage. You get all kinds of...
No, that was never a good idea.
We could have told you that if you had asked. But
Another
there's a bunch of brands. If you go to the store, I've seen many brands.
I can't remember the name of it. Savage says, for $10, thank you, sir. Another thing is people don't like to think about the fact that their restaurants are literally paid to make food. You make it at home because you need to eat. Flavor is the ultimate EROI equation.
What is EROI?
I was looking at that the whole time. That was what was throwing me off. I know return on investment, but I don't know what the E is.
Eating return on investment? I don't know.
Maybe he accidentally put that in there. The R and E are next to each other on the keyboard.
It's E period. Like he that was intentional. I don't know. So restaurants are literally paid to make food. You make it at home because you need to eat. I mean, those are both factual statements.
Correct.
I mean, although you could also go to a restaurant because you need to eat. Flavor is the also. Oh, he said all. Oh, he got another one in there. Maybe he's explaining it. I don't know.
Okay. Let's see. Also, just to make this clear, I agree. It's worth it to a point. Until I started cooking for myself, I was convinced that beef was awful, plain and well, and now I eat a whole cow just for funsies.
So basically, he's saying until he started making the food himself.
So whoever was making your food for you was just like putting awful, well done, fucking like pot roast with no flavor in front of you or something.
Just bland food. God, bland food for me, and maybe that's a thing. And again, the way we grew up, I'm sure, like everything had paprika, garlic, fucking every fucking old country spice. You know what I mean? Like I'm used to very, very flavorful and spicy food. And so when you go somewhere and you go out to eat or you can go to somebody's house or something, and they're like, "Oh, I made some spaghetti," and you taste it, and it tastes like it came out of a fucking can. I'm just like,
what do you do to your spaghetti? Okay, so I'll tell you what I do to my spaghetti.
Okay.
I use sausage, not hamburger. First of all,
I'll do both. Sometimes I mix them depending on what's going on. But yes,
I like the mild Italian because it's not too spicy for the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll add a little breadcrumb to the hamburger, to the sausage as you're cooking it, because it makes it actually have a different texture. Like, I don't know what it does, but it's totally different, dude. It's amazing. Try it sometime. And then I will add the sauce in after everything's done cooking, and then add a little parsley or whatever fucking Italian seasoning or spices I have, a little salt and pepper and garlic to taste, right? Just to add it in and have it in there. And that's it. I don't, it's nothing crazy. So what do you do to make your fucking...
So it depends. We just because beef's cheaper, and when we make spaghetti, we make a lot. We usually use beef. But the way I've found, those cheap little 99-cent at Walmart bottles of quote unquote Italian seasoning that has all the parsley and all the fucking shit in it already. If you put that on the beef while it is in the pan before it has cooked, and let the rendered fat incorporate those flavors into the beef, you cannot tell it is not sausage. It tastes like Italian sausage. Just telling you. You have to use a lot of it, but that's what I do. We do use Italian sausage sometimes if I'm just making a little bit for me and my wife or something. But when I'm cooking for everybody, I use beef because it's cheaper. As far as the sauce goes, I use whatever sauce I'm going to use. I usually like to use some sort of I like the 4 cheese, garlic and Parmesan. There's a few flavors of sauce I like. And then I always add on top of that. So I'm always going to add garlic. I'm always going to add a little pepper. I'm always going to add some salt. I like to add a little bit of tomato paste just to kind of thicken the sauce up a little bit. But, the tomato paste come in like those 2-ounce cans. So I may use like an ounce of tomato paste, but it does help as it cooks down. It thickens up the sauce a little bit. And then depending on, sometimes I like to make it a little bit spicy. So maybe or give it a little smoky flavor. I'll put a little paprika in there or something, but mostly it's just spicy because the tomato sauce, when you buy tomato sauce, and I've made my own tomato sauce before, but it's an incredible pain in the ass.
It really is. It really is.
It's good, but it's an incredible pain in the ass. And you can just go and buy,
it's not worth
it. Whatever it is, Prego, Classico, fucking, I don't care. Del Monte, I don't give a fuck. Whatever it is.
And by the way, do you know what Prego means in Italian?
I do, but I've forgotten. I know it means fuck. You tell me. Isn't it just tomato sauce?
It's the most pretentious thing to say as a thing selling a product. It's called "You're welcome."
Oh, there you go. but yeah, I just buy the store-bought stuff and then I just spice it up to wherever I want it. Because those things come in there. That's what I don't like. I do not like tangy pasta sauce. And just about anything you buy. There's a few brands that do okay. Just about anything you buy is going to be too tangy for my taste. Because if it gets too tangy, it starts to remind me of ketchup.
Dude, I like trying the different pasta sauces too. Like vodka sauce.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that stuff. And then sometimes they'll have like I forget what it's called, where it's like the green shit.
Pesto?
There's a green sauce that they make.
Pesto?
Yeah, pesto. Thank you. Yes, exactly. I love pesto, dude. Pesto is delicious.
You ever make
like
your own
tortellini,
pesto?
like cheese stuffed tortellinis with pesto and like chicken. Oh my god!
One thing you should try. Try it for me sometime. I don't know if you ever have. If you have, I don't know what you think. But I like one of two things sometimes just to kick up the pasta sauce a notch. However you do your pasta sauce, pour it in can, spice it up however you want, and then you can add one of two things. I've also added both, and it still tastes good. Either add a little bit of cream cheese and let it melt in the pasta sauce, or add like a handful of like the fresh grated Parmesan, those bags of Parmesan, and let it melt into the pasta sauce. And it gives it a little bit of a hint of an Alfredo, just a hint of kind of a creamy Alfredo in with the pasta sauce. Is delicious.
Okay, next time you're making like a can of Hormel chili, right? Mm-hmm. And you want it to be better.
Oh, I know. I'll tell you what I do. But you go ahead.
Finely diced onion.
Mm-hmm.
Throw it on top. and then cheese. But you don't put shredded cheese on top. This is a mistake. You get your chili boiling hot, right? And then you put your onions on top, and then you you cube cheese up. You get like little maybe half-inch cubes of cheese.
Real cheese, block cheese.
Correct. And then you throw a good handful of that in and mix it up. Little sour cream on top. Boom.
So here's what I do to spice up my Hormel chili. One, I'll take, I don't know, it's just for a can, so it's not that much. Just a couple ounces of real ground beef and cook it and get it like
oh my god!
So well.
Of course you would. I'm making a can of chili. I got to make some hamburger meat.
Well, it's just a little bit, and you cook it really well to where it's it's almost caramelized a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then you dump the can of chili on top of it and mix the real ground beef in with the stuff that's in the can, and then I like to throw a little bit of Rotel in with there, because it's got the tomatoes and the onions and the peppers and everything in it. And mix that in.
You're saying salsa? Rotel salsa?
Rotel's not salsa, but I mean it's got some.
Is it pico? What do you call it?
It's Rotel. It's diced tomatoes, onions, and peppers. I mean is that what you call Rotel? You know what Rotel is, though, right?
Yeah, it comes in the can of salsa.
Can. Yeah, we don't call it salsa down here because it's not really salsa. It's like
Is Rotel chat? Back me up. Is Rotel fucking salsa?
Rotel comes in a liquid that you don't use, so it's just the ingredients. It looks like you drain the can, and it's not pico because pico needs like fresh cilantro and stuff like that, and it uses only fresh ingredients, not canned. So you would fresh chop onions and fresh chop jalapenos and peppers and stuff.
Well, you'd be like the equivalent, but I mean canned.
I guess it's kind of like, except without the cilantro, it's kind of like canned pico, sort of. Not quite the same flavor profile. So I guess there's some similarities to pico, yeah, because it's at least 3 of the same ingredients.
My great grandmother's salsa recipe was like 2 cans of Rotel, 1 can of whole peeled tomatoes, and some cilantro. It's not bad.
I mean, I know it's not exactly it's basically fucking salsa, though. It's got all the same ingredients except for cilantro. But it has cilantro in it, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't have cilantro. Actually, I do think they make a Mexican Rotel version that probably is pico or whatever. But the main difference is usually salsa is it comes in the liquid, which is partially tomato sauce. Whereas with Rotel, you dump out the liquid because it's just diced things thrown in water, essentially. And salsa doesn't have water in it.
Okay, so there is a Mexican Rotel that has cilantro and lime.
Yeah, and I've never bought that one, so I don't know what that tastes like. And
no, I mean that's basically it's basically fucking like a canned pico is what that is.
It sounds like they're making canned pico. So
yeah,
which to me is not pico because pico is supposed to be fresh chop all your ingredients. I wouldn't.
Hey man, it's pico for the apocalypse.
I guess, yeah. I actually, if you remember my video, I stock a fuck ton of fucking Rotel because I use the shit out of it in all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I love Rotel's good. I love Rotel, man. Yeah. It's good to make queso with.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love making the cheap fucking cheese dip just with the fucking Velveeta and Rotel.
Dude, government cheese and Rotel, that's all you need.
Yeah. It's fucking delicious. When you don't want to fucking, spend the time making real nachos, but you want that fucking
dude, that's when you cook a pound of hamburger meat and you get that shit crispy and you add chili powder and all the spices and garlic and stuff to it, and then you add Rotel and queso.
One spice everybody needs is McCormick taco seasoning. That shit is cheap and it's fucking delicious. It is fucking great. It is the perfect mix of spices for anything that you're gonna do that's like Mexican food. I put it on chicken. I put it on beef. I don't even season my beef. I haven't. It's been years since I've tried to season my taco meat. I pour that shit on there. It's the perfect mix. I don't know what all spices they put in that thing. Obviously, they got fucking cumin in there, but
is that how you say it? I thought it was cumin.
I thought it was cumin too until I moved down here and heard people who were Hispanic say it. They don't say cumin. That's how you say it when I lived in Dallas. And I got down here and
so you're testing a bunch of Mexicans on how to pronounce a word from India?
Yes, because it's the number one spice that they use. So,
dude, that's something that I'd never used until recently. I watched this video on because I had a pork tenderloin, and I'm like, I don't know how to fucking cook this shit. Like, how do you make a pork tenderloin? And this lady was like, oh yeah, salt, pepper, garlic, cumin, blah blah blah. Do this, do that, do that. So I just followed her recipe exactly, and it turned out so fucking delicious. And now, like, that's like one of my, I don't know,
I love cooking.
maybe
It's
once a
fucking
month rotation meals that I cook for the kids.
great. Yeah, it's a great spice. My wife doesn't like it as much as I do because she thinks in its raw form it smells like stinky feet, which it kind of does. I'm not gonna lie.
It's kind of got like a dirt kind of flavor
Yeah.
almost. It's weird,
Yeah,
but it's
but
good.
when cooked into food, it's delicious. I fucking love it. So,
Mm.
but anyway, but yeah, no, I came down here because down here they call it cumino. So, which gets shortened to cumin.
Oh shit, we're behind on super chats. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Savage says, "Energy return on investment (EROI) is what he meant." So
There
he
we
was
go.
talking about
Energy.
like flavor is the ultimate energy return on investment, is what he was saying.
So the more time you invest in it, the better it's going to taste.
They get paid more if it tastes good. You don't get more nutrition just for it being yummy.
That is true. You don't.
Yeah.
But for me, I look at it the opposite way. I understand that when don't get me wrong. I mean, fucking most restaurants make good fucking food. Most restaurants you go to, regardless of what they are, even if you might not like that particular type of food. I mean, Olive Garden, for instance, right, makes better Italian food than most people make, right? Absolutely true.
Bullshit.
No, listen where I'm going.
I could
No.
teach anybody to make better
You
Italian
can teach
food.
anybody, but I'm telling you, the vast majority of people in this country right now cannot make Italian food as good as Olive Garden. I can.
That's probably
I
true.
can make way better food than Olive Garden. My Alfredo sauce puts fucking Olive Garden to fucking shame. But most people don't spend their time doing that. Not in today's day and age. Everybody's getting fucking fast food, all that
Dude,
shit.
the only thing I like about Olive Garden is how many breadsticks you get, which is endless. Because at home, it's like you make some garlic bread or whatever, and you have your like 2 pieces, and then the kids each have theirs or whatever, you know. But that's all the garlic bread you have, and when it's gone, it's gone. So it's kind of like you have to savor it. Versus at Olive Garden, you're like, bring more bread,
Yeah.
more bread.
Well, like I said, most restaurants make really good food, okay, and that's fine, and they make better food than most people because most people don't spend the time to fucking. There's not a lot of fucking like Italian grandmothers running around anymore, just fucking, cooking all the time and making that shit
So-
old school ways and stuff.
The key to making good Italian food is start at like 6 a.m. making the sauce and use real ingredients.
That's what I'm saying. Most
Yeah.
people don't do that.
You got to
No,
make the
I'm not a
Sunday
fan of it.
gravy.
But
It's not
I'm not
like-
a fan of Olive Garden. I want to make that very clear. I'm just pointing out. I use them as an example. Okay, I don't like Olive Garden. I don't go to Olive Garden. I've been to Olive Garden I think 3 times in my entire fucking life, and
Man,
none of it was
I'm
by
just
choice.
saying, like, anyone can do this. It's not hard. It just takes
No, it's
time.
not. I'm proof it's not hard. I learned how to cook, all the ways that I cook. Like I am like my entire family, my extended family, my wife's family, like fucking love my food. I'm not trying to brag, but I am bragging, I guess. I'm
Well,
just
it's
saying.
because you had to learn how to cook from like if you didn't cook food yourself, you didn't eat. And then
Yeah,
like when you
exactly.
were young, you just ate shit food because you didn't know how to cook. If you're
Yeah.
like me, and eventually you're like, well, I would like to be able to make some good food. So how do I do
Yeah.
it?
And it's not. You're right. It's not difficult. It's not difficult to learn how to cook. It's just most people don't try to learn how to cook. They like maybe have that one thing they know how to cook really well, and the rest of the time they're I don't know, buying shit at the store that's easy to slap together, or they're going out to eat, or they're just making a fucking box of mac and cheese or whatever the fuck it is.
I like Olive Garden because it's pretty decent Italian food that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. That's always consistent.
It is.
Matt, how dare you make fun of my ham sandwich that I eat like every other meal?
I'm just saying. Most people are eating ramen and fucking ham sandwiches, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
mean?
I am
So-
most
and that's
people.
not to knock it. I'm just saying, like most people when they go out to eat, they really, really enjoy the food where they go because it's way better than the shit they cook at home. For me, it's the opposite. I will spend more time and cook better food at home than when we go out to eat. To me, going out to eat isn't because I'm looking for food better than what I can make. It's because I don't want to fucking cook, and maybe I just want to, like, I don't know, go to the movies and go out to eat with my wife or whatever the fuck it is and not worry about it, and just pay somebody else to cook. So,
How many people would die of malnutrition if there weren't restaurants?
Oh my god. Well, I don't think like if
They did
if
figure it out before they died, but like they, you know what I mean?
if restaurants just disappeared tomorrow, then yes. However, if we just didn't have restaurants, I mean, people would still be doing like they used to do, which is making their own fucking food.
And I didn't used to be into cooking at all, and then I got into watching Townsend's, and that got me into cooking.
I fucking love that dude. I love his stuff.
I would totally fucking do anything for those dudes. They are an amazing group.
So far, the one thing that stands out to me that I looked at and I went, I would never make that, was the coffee eggs. Remember the coffee eggs?
Oh, there's a couple things that they've made that's just like
I'm sure that's the one that comes to mind when I think about ugh.
When he made it, I was going, no, no,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Tara Smith dropped in $2 and said, sweet, savory, or collages. What's collages?
They're like rolls.
So
like sausage
sweet stuff, savory stuff, or bread?
Oh,
No, collages usually have stuff like shoved into them, like sausage or some sort of like breakfast type.
Or sweet or savory collages. There we go. I said it's sweet or savory or collages. It's sweet or savory collages.
A cloche, in my opinion, should be more savory. So I'm going to go savory on that.
No, I thought.
Since I don't know what it is, I'm going to go with what you guys say.
Have you ever had a sausage roll?
Probably. I probably had it. I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
I've had a collage once, and I don't remember it very well. It was a long time ago.
Fun fact: Kalashnikov means maker of collages in Russian.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I don't remember if I liked it or not, but I'm always going to default to savory over sweet. I'm not a big sweets eater. Occasionally I like to have a bowl of ice cream or something, but I don't do sweets in general.
I like sweets, but it has to be like the right type of food. And as I said, collages, just in my opinion, should be savory.
Stephen Carroll says, 2 weeks ago, my boss announced that there's overtime galore. Now we have no parts and won't for at least a month. Yay, going to be fun. Does that mean that your overtime galore is gone? Because if you don't have parts, you can't work, right? I'm assuming you're fixing something with your parts.
I don't
know.
Maybe now they're just making the parts themselves out of silly string.
Problem is, between microwaves and restaurants, people don't view cooking as an essential skill anymore.
Okay.
Microwave dinners are gross compared to
I have
cooking.
a bone to pick with this.
And here's the thing: growing up with a single mother and all that stuff, and many times growing up before the age of 15, there were many times I was throwing fucking what's the cheap one, the
hamburger helper.
No, the microwave meals.
The Hungry Man dinner.
No, the Michelinas. Remember the Michelinas?
Oh, that's the even cheaper one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like the 99 cent ones or whatever. And eating some fucking shitty ass frozen fettuccine Alfredo. So I've had that many times. And then it was eating that type of shit that got me into cooking when I was a teenager.
Right, because you're I hate this.
Yeah, exactly. It was fucking just ugh. And the first couple times you try it, you're like, oh, okay. And then it was just I don't want this anymore. This is disgusting.
I think you'd be surprised how long a person can live on Lay's potato chips, bologna sandwiches, and ramen.
Okay, here's my question. You are what you eat, essentially, correct? The food that you eat becomes part of your body, not all of it, but some of it. What is the lion's share of your body comprised of?
Oh, shit. Cheese?
I'm going to say, for me, it's probably nachos. I eat way too many nachos.
Oreos.
So I put cheese in everything. I love adding cheese. Cheese just makes stuff taste better, I think. To the point that in our refrigerator, we have a cheese drawer that has fake sliced cheese, the real sliced cheese of various flavors. We always have a block of some Monterey Jack, a block of mozzarella, a block of fucking cheddar. We always have at least one bag of shredded cheese. We always keep Parmesan. We keep our cream cheese in there. Adding cheese to shit just generally tends to make shit taste better because you're adding fat. You're just adding
kind
fat
of cheese that you don't have stocked up in your fridge.
Dude, every kind of we also have the Mexican melting cheese, which is what you put on tacos down here.
Do you have creme fraiche?
Yes, we do, and I also
Oh my
have sour
God.
cream.
Now,
have both
question.
depending on what I'm making.
Do
If it's
you
on tacos,
have
a little creme fraiche. If it's
Swiss?
chili, it's a little
I'm
sour
not
cream.
hearing any of the bougie cheeses.
I don't get. I mean, we've got some
No roast
provolone.
duck?
I do have some Munster slices to
That's
put on
not
sandwiches.
bougie.
Which I
Where's
like
the
the smoky
Swiss?
flavor, but nothing like. I mean, I don't even know what you would consider bougie cheese. I hate blue cheese.
That's what I'm talking about, like a blue cheese or
Roast
Yeah.
pork?
I am not a fan of goat cheese. There's just something about the flavor,
love
no
goat
matter
cheese.
how they do it. I've tried goat cheese before. I have had it as a kid and as an adult. There's
You
something
like
about
feta?
goat cheese specifically that I just don't like. What?
feta.
I like
Feta
feta.
is goat cheese, isn't it?
Feta is goat cheese, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan.
It's got a
but yeah,
weird texture to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I always keep fresh shredded Parmesan in there. Sometimes I'll keep actually right now I have fresh shredded in the bag, and then I also have a little wedge of Parmesan that
I
you
would
can.
say a solid 75% of my body is made of chicken.
You know what it sounds like Matt needs is Matt needs one of those like cheese wheels that like you can melt one of the
You melt it?
sides.
I
and
would
then just
love to have
slice
that.
It
The
off
fucking-
to, like,
the
onto
big
burgers and
sideways
stuff.
oven contraption, the sideways burner that you just scrape the fucking melted cheese off. That'd be fucking great.
Yep.
If my kitchen was bigger, I'd want to get one of those fucking things.
Stephen Carroll says 28 years in this planet, and I still can't get the proper ratio of peanut butter and jelly.
How do you
No
fuck
shit,
that up?
right?
I mean, here's how I do that one. You put a shit ton of jelly and like not quite as much peanut butter, but a good amount of peanut butter.
Here's
You need
for me
more
it's the
jelly than
opposite.
peanut butter, and like you squish it together, and it ends up pretty good.
For me, it's the opposite. I prefer half as much jelly as peanut butter because I don't know. But, and first of all, it's got to be strawberry jam. I don't use jelly. I use
Nope.
jam.
Raspberry preserve.
Oh, see, preserves, jams, things like that. I hate jelly. Jelly's like fucking Jello. It doesn't spread for shit. It doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
I like, and strawberry's my favorite, but I also like occasionally some apricot preserves or something like that. But get some real stuff, and I like the strawberry. I found, I know a lot of people just use grape. I've found the strawberry is much sweeter, and for that reason, I like to do about twice as thick of a layer of peanut butter as whatever jelly I've got on there and put that together, and I find that's perfect for me. But it depends on your sweet tooth, right? Like I don't particularly like a lot of sweet foods. I like savory more than sweet.
Dude, have you ever
So I
done
enjoy
this
the peanut
move? You mix effectively a grilled cheese with the peanut butter and jelly. So you put a little bit of butter in the pan. You put the bread down with the peanut butter on it. Little butter down, bread down with the jelly. Wait till it gets crispy. Flop it together. Oh my god!
Yeah, fried peanut butter and jelly.
Oof.
I've done before, so here's what I've done: fried peanut butter jelly on a waffle. It's delicious.
Yes.
It's overly sweet. It's so rich that you can't eat much of it, but it's delicious. If you make we made fresh waffles, fresh in our waffle maker, and then peanut butter and jelly on them. Sandwich them together, throw them in the pan, toast both sides. It's delicious, but dear God, it is so fucking sweet that it's. And these weren't regular waffles. This is when I do like pancake mix or waffle mix, I always add a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of cinnamon into my batter, so the waffles themselves are sweet, and it was very rich.
I'm
very
actually making my own jelly tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
I picked up the because the fruit and the whatever they call it, like pectin or whatever. So I have to let you guys know how that comes out.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I don't know about you guys, but because I was just kind of wandering around Walmart, and that's why I decided to, because I happened to go down the canning aisle and was like, oh, they got pectin in stock finally. But fuck, our canning section was almost out of stock of everything.
Dude, there's so many holes when I walk down the aisles at the stores nowadays. There's just whole sections that look gutted, and I'm like, and it's just, it's not normal. And this is why I keep telling people, man, go fucking buy some shit, please.
There was even a lady, she's like, they never have anything anymore. And I was like, yeah, I guess everyone's freaking out and buying all the canning supplies. I'm happy to have gotten this. So let's see how it comes out. If it comes out good, I might pick up some more and then just pick up some frozen fruit and shit like that. Just make up a couple jars of it, because jelly or jam will last a while.
Fucking forever.
Yeah. So
See, I got to do raspberry because my grandma had a half fucking acre of raspberry bushes in her backyard, and she wouldn't know what to do with how many raspberries she had at the end of the summer. So she would just make jars and jars and jars of raspberry preserve and send them out to everybody in the family, like across the country.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that's what I remember. And the closest thing to it is the raspberry preserve you can buy at the store. Not quite the same, but it's still good to me. I don't know.
I'm gonna make both black because I picked up blackberries and strawberries, so I'm gonna make some of both.
Stephen Carroll says, correct, no overtime galore. I work at a place that makes parts for aircraft engines. Issues with the supply. I think that's going around.
Matt, I have a question. Did you have Swiss cheese?
Actually, I do have some Swiss. Yes.
Okay. I approve.
The slices, it's just the slices. So when I like to make sandwiches, I like a variety of cheeses. Like I like to make a big, like fuck Subway sandwiches, right? Like I fucking nice big fluffy piece of bread. Fucking throw my own ham and turkey, and I like to throw a little corn.
I can't even think of the last time I grabbed a Subway sandwich.
Yeah, I can make them so much better. And
dude, I love Subway. Fuck you guys.
Awesome. Well, I can make better sandwiches at home.
Second vote for Subway.
It's cheaper.
And it's just cheaper, yeah. And then I put my Japanese mayo and some nice Dijon mustard on there. Then I layer it up with like maybe a little Munster cheese, maybe a little.
Well, here's my problem with making a sandwich at home, dude. Like, I'm not gonna like buy a big head of lettuce to put a little lettuce on my sandwich, and a tomato to put a slice of tomato, and like an onion I'm gonna chop up and put a little bit of onion. And now I gotta buy like all the different like fresh ingredients that go on it that you don't just have like jalapenos in the fridge or whatever, which are good on a sandwich, by the way.
Oh, very good. Jalapenos are great on just about everything, by the way.
But yeah, like I don't have all that fresh stuff all the time. Or if I do, it's like, I'll put onions on it. So it's like onions, meat, cheese, jalapenos, and mustard on bread. Subway's better than the sandwiches that I make. Even though I could make a better sandwich, I don't.
I found a second cooking channel I like. You ever seen Kent Rollins, the cowboy guy?
Oh, dude, I've been described to him for 4 years.
He's kind of goofy, funny to watch or whatever, but his recipes are fucking good.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. He's great. And if I need to order some more. I've tried some of his spices that he sells on his website. They're really
pretty good.
Yeah.
Keilachi, any you've had from store are trash. What is keilachi?
Kolache.
What do you eat at home, Tara? You're like naming all these.
I've never had a. Yeah, I've never had a store-made kolache. Like all the kolaches I've ever had are at like little festivals or fairs or something like that. Like next to the pierogi pancake the pierogies and like the potato pancake places.
I feel like you're making fun of me now, Tara.
See, I think Tara knows more about our shared culture than
I'm sure she does.
By a lot, because I know very little, but I just know I'm from that part of the world. That's about it. And my grandmother knew a lot more than me, and that was shared in the food and stuff. But
I've got it from all angles because I'm Scottish, Jewish, Indian, and black.
It's a good mix.
It's a good mix.
Opravim vam kolash budit ji molavet. I don't know how to.
Opravim vam kolash.
Opravim vam kolash budet je milevat.
You have to say it in the accent of Slav.
It does sound better. Das Ladan. Akusamaj, dobre.
Budet.
That's what I remember.
Oh my god!
If I said that right
I saw
at all.
a video today.
I mean, good day in Russian.
It was this Russian tourist, and he was in England. He was outside Buckingham Palace, and he goes, yes, we visit Buckingham, where Queen lived. Freddie Mercury lived here. Very good homosexual man.
Savage says, peanut butter and banana is greater than peanut butter and jelly. I would agree with that if you add honey to the peanut butter banana.
Oh, don't even, sorry. See, that's my favorite thing to put on peanut butter is honey. I just had a sandwich yesterday for lunch. I'd pour a little honey over the top of the PB and just replace the jelly altogether. Just peanut butter and honey is the bomb.
Man, I have to disagree with you on jelly. I like grape jelly. I like it a lot, and I like it with peanut butter on a sandwich.
I mean, I like grape jelly, but when I was like 18, I discovered strawberry jam as opposed to like jelly. And you know, because in jelly, you know, your mom always
God
brings
damn it,
home
I'll be
fucking
back.
grape.
Can you
grape
carry
jelly.
the show for a minute? I'm sorry, dude. I'm having
Sure.
issues over here.
That's fine. But like growing up, like, you know, it was just like assumed you brought in what was in your fucking pantry because it's your mom went and bought was fucking grape jelly and grape jelly. And then when I started getting older, I started first discovering jam, and I realized I like grape jam better than like grape jelly. And then I tried some strawberry jam because we had some fucking apple butter preserves or jam or whatever in the fridge, and I was like, well, that's pretty good. I should try some strawberry because I couldn't remember if I'd ever tried strawberry before. And I was like, oh, this is the shit. I was like, I don't know. It just clicked with me. Love the strawberry. So, but great. Don't worry, grape jam's great too. I just like strawberry a little bit better. But I don't like jelly. Jelly for me, it's the texture because it's like fucking hard Jello, and I just don't like it. I'd much prefer jam. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Jam or preserves or something. I don't know. They're better.
I'm not really a fan of most preserves because they leave a lot of the seeds in them, and I don't like blackberry seeds, and I really don't like raspberry seeds if it has them either. But like,
now, here's the thing: I don't like blackberry or raspberry because they're too tart for me in any form, jam or whatever. You know what I mean?
I like the flavor, I just don't like the seeds.
The seeds don't bother me. I've had them before. The seeds don't bother me. It's the flavor because I don't know. I guess because you know the only time you use like a jam or a jelly or a preserve or whatever is like either like mixing it with peanut butter or you're making toast. And usually in those cases, like that's the thing that's supposed to be the sweet offset to the savory. Like on a PB&J, it's the sweet offset to the savory peanut butter. At breakfast, it's the sweet offset to the bacon and eggs and sausage and whatever else you're eating. And so I think I like when I'm eating that, I think I want whatever it is to be ultra sweet and not tart at all. I don't like the tart thing.
What if we did like the little light smear of grape jelly, then like a big heavy coating of strawberry, then honey, then bananas, then peanut butter?
I would try that sandwich. I would absolutely try that damn sandwich.
It'd be very complex.
Yeah, it would.
It'd be hard to eat too.
It probably would.
I will make a piece of toast. I will lightly toast, or 2 pieces of toast, lightly toast it, then put peanut butter on it, and then honey.
That's good.
Same sandwich I just said, but deep fried.
Oh, deep fried PB&J
with honey and bananas in it.
You know that makes
it sounds like fucking Elvis Presley food.
You know what's good?
Guy.
One of my favorite meals, and it's just because I've never made one, and I don't know if I could make it better or not. But back when Bennigan's was still around, which they're gone now.
I love the Monte Cristo.
Exactly, the Monte Cristo with it's a fucking club sandwich, deep fried, with powdered sugar on top, and you dip it. And that's the only time I've ever enjoyed that raspberry jam.
Yep. It is not good for you in any way, shape, or form. Do not eat this, but it is delicious.
Fucking delicious. Oh my god, I loved that damn thing. That is the only reason I would go to Bennigan's was to get that. Well, that and the brownie bottom sundae. I would get a Monte Cristo and a brownie bottom sundae.
You still get a Monte Cristo if you want one.
Where?
Tally's. It's a place in Tulsa. They do kind of a breakfast retro diner kind of thing, and they have a Monte Cristo on the menu that's pretty okay. It's not as good as some of the other ones I've had, but
there's a pub and grub right down the street from me that has one. It's fantastic.
I wish I had one locally. I don't know anywhere locally that does it. Oh.
Tara Smith says dobre equals good. See, I knew akusamaj, dobre, and then yate svate uglavu. Those are the only things I know in our language. But den means day, so dobre day means hello, good day. Ahoy means hello, goodbye, less formal, like hola for Spanish.
So it's like
this is not Russian. This is like Czech, right? Because dobre
Slovakian.
Dobre also means good in Russian. Day is a whole different thing, though.
It's like so ahoy is like aloha.
Aloha.
It's the same thing. It means hello and goodbye.
I think we should just all say ahoy to each other from now on.
Ahoy. Ahoy. I wonder if that's where the nautical term comes from.
I'm sure it does.
Ahoy, matey. Which means hello.
Ahoy. Ahoy, boy.
Yeah, it's like aloha. Aloha means hello and goodbye.
Das Vidanya means goodbye.
Dos vidanya. If he dies, he dies.
Sin sukum sin.
But Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind.
Sin sukum sin means son of a bitch.
Why'd you say some Japanese shit there, Jolly? You Japanese bastard.
Racism.
No, that's what the fucking North Koreans call them. Jap bastards.
Ba weep, grana weep, ninny bum.
I don't know what that means, but it was funny.
You don't know what that means? Tell me somebody in here knows what that means. Ba weep, grana weep, ninny bum. Come
That
on.
from Star Wars.
If
No,
anybody
it's some,
would remember
some
that,
80s movie.
yes, and I would expect Honda to remember this.
Is it from fucking Mork and Mindy?
No, it's from an 80s movie. Angry was right about this.
Fuck, why am I blanking on this?
It's from an 80s movie that was animated.
Is it Transformers?
Yes, Transformers, the movie. Remember when they land on the planet when Cuffs and Rodimus fucking land on the planet with Daniel, and the fucking Sharkticons come after him. He's like, "It's okay. Offer them an Energon cube, and then give them the galactic greeting for, we come in peace." And he says, "Ba weep, grana weep, ninny bum." That's the intergalactic fucking saying for we come in peace.
Matt, you remember too much shit. You need to start smoking more weed.
I'm telling you, I that shit used to fucking trip my kid. When my 12-year-old was a little kid, when she was like a toddler going into 5-6 years old,
she smoked a lot of weed.
I would say that shit to her, and she would crack up because she had no idea what the fuck I was saying, and I would just look at her and go, "Ba weep, grana weep, ninny bomb," and she just fucking die laughing. It was a great fucking thing. She just thought it was the funniest fucking thing that I could possibly say because it made no goddamn sense to her. Because it's from an 80s cartoon, that's why, and it makes no goddamn sense.
Apparently, Jolly's back to being a fog breather.
What did I do this time?
You takes on so many things lately have been atrocious. Is why.
Your takes on things have been atrocious.
And my specific thought is Office Space. The fact that you don't like it just means that you don't understand it because you're a fetus.
Fetus.
It was Office Space followed by the Goonies.
Yeah, and how you had to try 3 times
I
to
gave the
launch.
Goonies like a 6.
Yeah, well, it's better.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it wrong that I watched Office Space at I don't know, 10, 11 years old, went, I am never doing that.
That's what you're supposed to get out of that movie.
Yeah.
That's why at the end of the movie, he's fucking goes into construction and gets to work outside and is like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good,
Honestly, that movie made me change ideas I had about my life. At a very early age, I will always be grateful to Mike Judge.
Mike Judge is great. What is that other movie he did? I don't know, about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, that has Jason Bateman in it. Fuck, that was a good movie.
Horrible Bosses? I don't know.
No. He didn't. Mike Judge didn't do Horrible Bosses.
Do you know anything about the plot?
Extract. There you go. And it was him and Mila Kunis and Jason Bateman owns a factory or something.
Yes.
That's a good movie. That's a good movie. I haven't watched that one in a while. I need to watch that again.
I put it to you that Horrible Bosses contains one of the greatest characters in all of film or literature. That is Motherfucker Jones.
Yes.
It's funny on the if you Google Mike Judge movies, a Beavis and Butthead short from 1992 called Frog Baseball shows up.
Well, that's because it's you Googling it, and they know that you like frogs and know that you like baseball.
And Beavis and Butthead.
Was that the first what year did Beavis and Butthead come out?
I feel like Beavis and Butthead was 94-ish. So I feel like
that
was
has
probably
to be the first Beavis and Butthead thing.
Yeah, so he probably did a little short film, a little animated short film, and that's probably how he got the show on MTV.
Yeah. Frog Baseball. I don't think I remember seeing this. The animation's fucking weird on it. Look at this.
Never even heard of that.
Watch it be like a fucking gay frog conspiracy thing. it's all
yeah, that's clearly some.
like early drawings.
Yeah, unrefined.
I really like to think that which one is the blonde one? Beavis or Butthead? I don't remember.
Beavis
I
is
really
blonde.
think that Beavis is Dale Gribble.
Maybe.
Like he grew up to be that.
Fire, fire, fire.
I can see him being Boomhauer too, like ding ding dong, fire.
Hello, my name is Cornholio. I need tippy for my bunghole.
Honestly, like Mike Judge contributed quite a bit to my life because King of the Hill was basically openly making fun of my family, like anyone in Oklahoma or Texas.
And Idiocracy? Jesus Christ. The dude could have been Nostradamus at this point with that fucking movie.
I like Mike Judge quite a bit. Have you ever seen what's it called? Silicon Valley? He made.
Oh my god, I love that show. I've watched every episode twice.
Space. It's like Office Space, but there's more of it, and now it's set in our era.
Yes. Oh, it's
So
dude.
it's awful?
The fucking dick joke in the season 1 finale of them with the chalkboard trying to figure out how many strokes it would take to jack off everybody. All like how many? I forget how many dudes it was, and it's like, well, it depends on the angle and the shaft, and like, it is the most intricate dick joke you've ever heard in your life, and it's fucking hilarious. It is fucking great. That show is fucking amazing. If there's somebody out there who hasn't seen it that's not Jolly, you should watch it. Jolly shouldn't, because he doesn't deserve to get that type of enjoyment.
Do I take them out of the bag and suck them individually, or do I suck the outside of the bag?
Oh my god.
Alrighty. I'm gonna let y'all have your fun.
Jolly, maybe Jolly might actually like Silicon Valley because it's not.
It's more of this era.
I mean, Silicon Valley is only like what the last season was just 2 years ago. It was right before COVID.
I put it to you that Office Space in some ways is very of its time because of how much it was like a computer thing, and like them beating the shit out of the copier to that gangster rap song.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean shit to Jolly, but to all of us that ever had to use one of those back in the 90s or 80s,
I still have to use stupid copiers and printers, and I hate them.
Yeah, but they're a million times better than they were.
Oh, they're way better than the ones.
Yeah.
Savage says, okay, so hold on. I know about Office Space. I know about Goonies. Did you compare Shawshank Redemption to Lego Batman?
What?
No.
Apparently, well, Savage has it in his head apparently that you were asking if fucking Lego Batman was better than Shawshank. It's too much, Jelly.
I'm going to put it out there that Lego Batman is possibly better than Shawshank if you view it from a certain point of view.
You'll find, Luke, that many of the truths we hold on to depend on our point of view.
Okay, so first of all, I like Lego Batman. Lego Batman was a great movie. It was a lot of fun. It was really good. It is not Shawshank good.
No.
But Matt, if you're 5 years old and love Batman,
if you're 5 years old, then if you're between like 5 and 12, I'll give you that you probably think Lego Batman is better, and I probably would at that age as well. After that, there's no excuse. I'm just saying.
So is it bad that I want to scrape all the finish off my vape pen? Blew it?
I know what it is. He's saying, asking if Lego Batman was better than Shawshank. It was before I watched Shawshank, and we were just talking about Morgan Freeman.
Oh, well, that makes more sense.
I wasn't comparing Shawshank to Lego Batman.
Okay, well, that makes more sense, and I don't remember you saying that. But, I mean, you might have been joking because
I think I was
probably joking because they both had Morgan Freeman in it.
And I haven't seen Lego Batman, but I have seen the Lego movie, and I was probably like, oh man, he topped his performance from
By the way,
movie?
Lego Movie 2, not as good as the first one.
Not as good.
Like by a decent amount too.
It's almost like the people who make the movie matter, Matt.
You know what game was really fun though? Was Lego Star Wars.
Dude, I
like Lego Indiana Jones.
Lego Star Wars and Lego Star Wars 2 for the GameCube. It was great. Then I got Lego Star Wars Clone Wars, and that was awesome.
Here's a controversy. I've never played a Lego anything game.
Oh, you should. They're great.
I had a
No, never mind. That's not true. I played Lego Marvel Superheroes. Never
Had a
mind. I just
PlayStation
lied.
Portable?
But it was on PS4 for the 6 months that I played PS4 before my PS4 broke. So that's why I don't remember. It took me a minute to remember it. So
Matt, you want a PS4?
I have a PS4 now. One broke, and then I got one from. Where's X Adam 1? Dude gave me one. And then at that point, I was just too pissed off that mine broke, so I just gave it to my daughters, and it's theirs now, which they never fucking play, so it just sits there. At least my Xbox One gets played because my son plays Ark all the fucking time. He's either playing Ark or GTA 5. Like, that's what he does when he's not working. So,
would you get a PS5 for $600 or $700 or whatever they go for if you have to buy one online?
No, I would not buy it.
No, because I got one for $4.99.
No,
is it worth it?
Yeah, for the retail price, it's worth it.
Here's the thing: I am for the most part, and have been here since probably 2008, 7, whatever. I'm an Xbox loyalist. The only reason I got a PS5 or PS4 when I did that first time was because it was a retarded Black Friday sale where I got the $400 version of the PS4 for $150, and I happened to walk in when they had it. And then when that thing broke, I didn't give a shit. And again, the only reason that I have another one is because somebody gave it to me. Like I gave it to my girls.
There might be a reason it was $150.
Do you know what I found in stock last night, but didn't buy?
I got some penis in stock for
you. PSA dagger.
No, I don't give a shit about that gun anymore. Honestly, I don't.
Yeah, they took too long, and no one does anymore.
I will say they did start selling just the frames for like $100.
So
they had complete, and I think there was the compact size one. So they had like the Glock 19, and they had the smaller one than Glock 19. Because they've got a compact version, I believe. Right?
Well, and then they didn't even come out with the version I wanted, which was the version with the RMR cut and the threaded barrel. That's the one I wanted. It was threaded barrel, RMR cut with the suppressor height sights. That one hasn't even come out yet. That's the one I wanted because it was basically a pimped out Glock for like $450 was what they were advertising it was going to sell for. And then, so I was like, well, that's cool because you can basically get for less than a Glock, you can get a Glock that you would then have to go and get RMR cut and a separate barrel that would cost, you'd have fucking spent $750, $800 on your Glock and you can get it for $450. That's pretty cool. I want one of those. I didn't want the plain Jane one. I have enough fucking plastic guns. Okay.
Right. Me too.
I don't need any more. Right. Like I
only have like one plastic gun when I think about it.
Oh, I've got like 5
no,
or
I've got
6
2.
or
I've got
7
2
or something. I don't even know. But like I didn't need
I've got 3. Fuck, I have 3.
Well, there you go.
They're multiplying.
So I only wanted it for the fact that you could get all those add-ons for such a cheap price. And then they don't even release that version. So I'm like, fuck you then. I don't care.
Savage says that you're lying, Jolly. I remember specifically Jolly saying that. I couldn't super chat when he said it. I've been holding on to this for a bit. So he's been holding a grudge here, Jolly.
Well, and again, I think we hopefully have explained it that you were joking because you knew Morgan Freeman was in both movies. But you hadn't at that point seen either movie.
The only thing I can imagine is maybe when I was reviewing Shawshank, I said Morgan Freeman could have been better. But I don't think I compared him to Lego Batman in that instance.
Well, this one here, yeah. I mean,
regardless, he's still going to spank you when he sees you.
No,
that might be 2 things.
Savage, only I get to spank Jolly.
No.
You're very afraid, Jolly.
All right, so when we meet up and we have our potluck dinner.
Yep.
This is why I wear my
compare mashed potatoes.
Okay. Here's the question. It's the potluck dinner. What do you got? What dish are you bringing?
Oh, damn.
Napkins.
One of my favorite dishes to make, and one of the ones I think I do the best at, is my fettuccine Alfredo.
I make a mean chicken stir fry.
I'm bringing my beer cheese soup.
Bring in my
Beef
rice.
stew too. Beef stew is really good and easy to make.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or maybe pot roast. I can make a pretty good pot roast.
Oh, I could do my slow cooker lasagna.
Oh, that's the thing that made me realize I might be lactose intolerant.
I do a stir fry where I start out by like taking pretty much like a half a stick of butter, throwing that in the skillet with a bunch of chicken and a bunch of garlic, like minced garlic. And then I cook that until it's pretty much all the way through, and then dump in like sriracha, green onion, like maybe bean sprouts, other assorted veggies, whatever you really want. But then you serve that over rice, and it has this like, oh, I put soy sauce in it too. I forgot about that, but that's obvious. But it has this like savory butter garlic kind of sauce, and it's a stir fry. It's really fucking good. Matt would love it. It has lots of butter.
Looks like Jolly's cheeks are back on the menu, boys. Jolly said Ray Ray is not the only one allowed to spank him. Open season on Jolly's cheeks, boys and girls, says Savage.
No, I said no. No one is allowed to spank me.
No, it doesn't
no,
matter.
no one. That's a double negative.
No.
That means everyone.
No one is allowed. No.
Jolly, I offered you the umbrella of my protection, and you said no. So
Now it's open season on your
that's
ass.
open season.
Oh, that's fine.
Does that
Shot the
include
most
where
of
the
you.
cheeks meet?
Yeah, Jolly. Does it include where the cheeks meet?
Colostomy Bag says, Honda, are you happy with your PSA AR-10? Is it 1 MOA? I have never been able to get 1 MOA out of it, but 2 MOA I have. But now that I've got some new glass on it, I got to take it back out to the range and re-sight it in, and I'll I don't know, maybe I'll make a video about it then, because it'll actually have good glass on it and stuff. It'll give it a good chance, and I'll get a sled from the place or whatever so that it's like super stable or as stable as I can get it, and really try to get a good group out of it and see what it does.
Have you improved the trigger?
No, I have not done a thing to it besides, well, I replaced the handguard, and it's not even free float. It's a 16-inch barrel. It's stainless steel. Like, I doubt that it'll get 1 MOA, but it's going to be good enough for me anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I don't plan on ranging out to 1,000 yards with it very often, if ever. And I wouldn't even know where the BDC is for that anyway. You know what I mean?
I think that most people overestimate the ranges that they're going to shoot at. Like what Honda's saying, you're not going to shoot at 1,000 yards. Like
maybe 300 max. And in that case, I think 2 MOA is perfectly fine. You know?
That, and like really with a 308, what 300-400 yards meters is about like your maximum point blank range. After that, you're going to have to do a lot of compensation for drop. And 2 MOA at 400 yards is like the size of a human head.
Yeah, it's an 8-inch group.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I'd got the 18-inch barrel version, to be honest. Just so it would have a little bit more velocity coming out of the barrel. But 16 is fine. I got the 16 because that was the one that was on sale. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I mean, granted, I spent less than $600 on my AR-10 for just like the upper and lower. Versus what do they go for now? Like $1,100? So that was the other reason I bought it, because at the time it was the cheapest version of anything that's semi-automatic in 308. I don't know if that's true anymore. I mean, what is the cheapest semi-automatic 308 that you can buy right now? Is it the PSA AR-10 for $1,100? I don't know.
I think it and like a PTR G3 are probably pretty close to the same money right now.
The PTRs are going for 11 or 12, aren't they?
Yeah, but that's the same ballpark.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was watching a video back then when I bought the AR-10 about a PTR, and this guy did like 1,000-round mag dump, or not mag dump, but like I'm gonna load up a bunch of mags in my PTR and shoot them off as fast as I can and get through 1,000 rounds and see how it goes. And maybe it was just this dude was like a doofus, because he was kind of a doofus. Or maybe it was just that gun was hard to run for that many rounds as quick as he did it. But it didn't. He made it look not very easy, and it talked me out of buying one.
I had a PTR that I rigged out to put a binary trigger in, and it was interesting. I really liked that gun. I only sold it because I needed money, and it was like a $3,000 gun with that binary trigger.
I might have picked out the next gun I want to get. CZ Scorpion.
Yes.
With a folding pistol brace.
Yes.
And a binary trigger.
Oh.
I think you should buy a fucking flintlock.
Well, I don't have a semi-automatic pistol caliber carbine.
Yeah.
So I kind of need one of those. And I was thinking about getting like a Streebog or something cheaper like Matt got. But a Scorpion's not that much more, and I wouldn't care about it except for you can put one of those triggers in it. And then you actually have basically, effectively, a fucking subgun, you know?
Yeah. I bought a side-by-side muzzle-loading shotgun.
Yeah, I saw that little fucking shorty.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's like got 10-inch barrels on it, 12-inch barrels, something like that.
Will a flintlock defeat an alien?
Probably. Their vulnerability is lead.
Captain Picard used holographic lead bullets to kill Borg.
Yeah.
I think
I really want to buy like a nice custom-made Kentucky rifle. I just don't have the money.
Could you make one out of one of those parts kits nice?
Yeah, but I've never done it before, and it would be like watching Honda do his first gunsmithing thing. But like it's even more complex, so I might get like a shitty flintlock when I'm done. I'd love to find someone that does that and go just do it with them for a year.
I don't know. I've seen the videos on it. It doesn't seem like any particular part of it's complicated. It just seems tedious.
Yeah, but like with the intricacy of the stuff that I'd want done to it, like I would like a gun that like had been touched at the hands of the master, you know, and like have fucking ducks carved into it and shit. And I don't do any of that shit. Maybe not ducks if it's a fucking rifle. Maybe deer. I don't know.
Since we're talking about the relevance of MOA and shooting distances, any more thoughts into hunting? Put into hunting. Actually, I've been there's some app that I found that you can download, and it costs money per month, so I haven't done it yet just to see. But it's like a GPS, like public land hunting tracker thing, where it's like, okay, this is where your license is for. These are the areas that you can hunt in. Okay, you drive to the area, you walk, and you're like, okay, now you've crossed the line. Like now you're legal to shoot. Like it tells you all that stuff on an app.
I've always wanted to do bow hunting because in Oklahoma, the archery season lasts like 4 months and the gun season lasts a week. So they're definitely encouraging you to use the bow, I guess.
It makes it a lot harder. I think bow hunting, though, like if you listen to Rogan talk about it, like the amount of patience, and because you have to, like, you can take a pop shot at a deer at like 150 yards pretty easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't do that with a bow and arrow, so you have to get a lot closer to them.
That's why you hunt from like a tree stand or whatever, though.
But still, I mean, it just takes patience. You just got to sit there and sit there and sit there sometimes, I would think. I don't know. I haven't done it.
That's any hunting. You should be prepared to be sitting in a chair freezing your ass off for hours and hours and hours with nothing to do.
Right, but I mean, the amount of time that it would take potentially for a deer to come in with a 150-yard radius and get a clear shot at would be a lot less potentially than like a 25-yard radius or whatever it would be for a bow and arrow, or maybe 50. I don't know what you'd want to shoot at. Like 50 would seem borderline, like you could fuck that up, and now you've like winged it with an arrow, and now you're like an inhumane hunter or whatever you call it.
I just think it looks cool. And I see the appeal because the season is longer.
No one takes pop shots at game. You know what I meant, like a longer shot.
There's also the thing that with bow hunting, you can hunt in places that you couldn't deer, like you couldn't rifle hunt.
The first thing
Or
I ever
shotgun hunt.
killed was 25 yards away from me, and I blew its fucking head off. So, I don't know. Maybe we have different experiences.
Like my dad will hunt in our yard. He will bow hunt.
Well, I mean, if it was
For
like
county.
the neighborhood that I grew up in, right, where the people feed the deer and there's like a million deer everywhere you go, and like you look out in your backyard at any given time during the day, there's like a 50-50 chance that there's a deer in your backyard right then. Like, yeah, that would be pretty easy to just have a bow. And actually, there was a dude who he did that. He had a crossbow and shot a deer in his backyard because he was trying to just do it all quiet, like. But then the deer like ran off and ran through like 12 people's backyards and died in someone else's backyard with his arrow in it. He got in all kinds. Dude, he got in so much trouble for that shit, like comparative to what he did. You know, he just shot a deer in his backyard, but it was like he might as well have murdered a child as far as the homeowners association was concerned.
Yeah, that tends to happen when you have a wounded deer run through 12 people's backyards trailing blood.
It was little Johnny's birthday too, and he was traumatized.
Savage says, to be clear, if you know your guns and how to shoot them, you can take easy shots at 150. I've had normies tell me about their super long shots on deer, 100 yards. Yeah, I would think like hitting a deer in the kill zone at 100 yards would be like a gimme with a good rifle, you know?
The furthest away I've ever shot something was probably 150 yards. But I'm in Oklahoma, and we're in the forested part of Oklahoma, so you don't get too many of those like wide open shots.
But I wouldn't want to shoot something at more than 2, to be honest. Because like at 200 yards, like the slightest little tiny flinch, and you're not inside of that kill zone anymore, and you've just injured the deer, and he's gonna run off, and now you got to track him and shit, you know.
When I was young and stupid, I tried to shoot a deer at like 1,800 yards with a 30-06. I was aiming really high, but I don't think it even fucking noticed I was shooting at it. It was a long way off. We were up on top of a berm, and you could see like forever through these like fields. It was all on Corps of Engineers land.
Wow, people are they're fucking with Malone tonight. Mark Malone's in the chat. Don't worry, Tara's on it. I don't know. It would be cool to get a bunch of deer meat in the fridge, though, or an elk, even better. But again, I would need like some way to transport it back to the car, and like I don't know how to clean. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I would just like to have someone to like come with me. I will show you the ropes. Here's where you go. This is what you do. All right, let's do it. Okay, good job. Like, now let's bring it back. Okay, now here's what you do. Just walk me through it, you know? If I do it once, then I can do it again. But I've never done it before. I mean, I've killed rabbits, and I've killed squirrels, and I've killed birds with BB guns and stuff like that growing up. Like, more than any kid probably ever should have. But we weren't hunting to eat. It was hunting for fun. Yeah. Which, again, that probably sounds bad or whatever, but that's what we did, you know? It was the 80s, man.
I don't know. I feel kind of bad about most of the things I ever killed.
Birds are dinosaurs, man. Don't feel bad about killing a dinosaur.
The thing I feel worst about with birds is I hit one with a glare mount once. It's like one of those laser dazzler things. And it like ran its head into the ground for like 5 minutes. Felt really bad. I was wondering if it worked. My old boss said that we should try it on a hooker, and we settled on a sparrow. So it could have been worse.
We had a magpie get stuck in our garage. It was like there was trash in the garage, and like someone closed the doors, and the magpie was getting into the trash.
Yeah.
And then he like was he wouldn't leave the garage. He was being a dick. So grabbed the BB gun and shot him, and it just like pissed him off. So I shot him again, and then he was still alive. So I shot that bird like 7 times before he died. Like, magpies are fucking tough birds, man.
I used to when we had 2 very large dogs that liked they would eat birds. They liked it better than their dog food. And I had a pit bull and a German shepherd, and they would come down and try to get the dog food. And when they would, because we had the dog food out in the backyard, and it was over by a tree, and when they would come down, the dogs would always go after them. And they sometimes, on occasion, they would catch them, and they'd eat. They ate bird. Dogs love to eat bird. And so there was a couple times I sit in my backyard, and by that tree, the birds would wait whenever we put out the food, and I would sit there with a 22 and just feed my dogs because they liked bird better than they liked their fucking dog food.
Dude, I had a border collie growing up, and same thing. Like, you'd put his food in the backyard, and he wouldn't eat it. And he would sit by it, all still and quiet and motionless, and wait for a bird to come and land. And the thing was that dude could jump like 12 feet in the air. You know what I mean? Like, he was athletic as fuck. And so a bird would land, and then he would pounce, but he would pounce up. And they would fly up like right into his mouth, like sometimes. Not every time, but like sometimes when they flew up and he jumped, like they'd fly like right into his mouth.
Yeah. The dogs loved the birds. They would much prefer to eat the birds than to eat the dog food. And so there was a while there where it was like, well, the dog food's just the bait for the birds at this point, because the birds love the dog food. But
dude, he'd eat 2 or 3 a week, and he'd only eat the dog food when he like finally gave up on catching birds, or there was none around or whatever.
Oh, they'd eat fucking birds every day if they could have. Like, that's what they wanted to eat, because it's meat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's real meat.
Nice fresh meat.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, that's what you like. And so, I never felt bad about it. They were all they're mostly like crows, and shit.
Dude, what's the deal with dogs and chicken bones? Because I've heard that, like, they can eat chicken bones if the chicken's not cooked.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. It's something about the chicken bones being brittle.
But once it's cooked, then it'll splinter when they eat it or whatever.
Yeah. It's really any bone. Once it's cooked, it softens up the bone, so it'll splinter more inside their stomach, where if it's uncooked, like, their bodies are actually designed to digest bones and shit.
So I was eating some chicken wings a few weeks ago and accidentally ate a piece of the bone or something, I think. And like, I was so fucking sick for like a week. I don't recommend it. Or maybe I had food poisoning. I don't know. It could have gone either way. But
have you ever been eating like tortilla chips or whatever kind of chip, fill in the chip, and you swallow, but like the chip that you swallowed wasn't chewed up enough, and it like rolls down your throat and cuts your esophagus the whole way down?
Oh, that sucks.
The other one I hate is when you're eating chips and you hit it just right where it slides between your tooth and your gum and goes up in your gums, and you're like fucking picking at it to get it out, and it fucking hurts. Hate that shit.
Dude, I have a tooth that got pulled out years and years ago because I had a bad tooth. And if I eat chips and I forget about it, sometimes it'll stab right where that tooth was, like right into my gums, and oh my god, that hurts so bad.
Did you know that the requirement for British soldiers in the 17th century was to have at least 2 teeth that met together so they could bite the end off their cartridges?
Good goals.
Yep, that's a good goal to have. You ought to have at least 2 teeth that meet.
That's terrible. Dude, how did people like eat? Is that why everything back then was like boiled and soft?
Yep.
Because no one can eat anything that's not already pre-chewed.
A lot of soups.
I really do like bread pudding. Oh, Guns and Barbecues here. We were talking about chicken bones. You probably got some answers.
Oh, that's ironic. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Saw I had the invite. Haven't been in here in a while, so figured I'd grace everybody with my presence.
What do you know about eating chicken bones?
For dogs.
For dogs, honestly, I give my dogs chicken bones all the time, but my dogs are the type of dogs where they bite them in half and swallow them whole. So, every once in a while, I've given dogs chicken bones, and you'll hear them, and they live and they're fine. I've heard of people saying, those shards go through their stomach, and then they're shitting blood. I'm like, ooh, that sounds awful. But I've never experienced that with any of my dogs, so I keep doing it.
Them choking on it too would be an issue potentially, or at least like getting stuck and then they like vomit all over your floor because they're eating a chicken bone that they just swallow.
Yep. I mean, I say know your dog. If your dog's one of those dogs that likes to chew a while, and they're probably going to chew the chicken bone to tiny little shards, it might not be the best idea. But if it's a dog like mine that just inhales everything and might only chew it once or twice, literally, whatever.
Can you guys hear the cat purring?
No.
He's really loud.
I don't know. Like, dogs are annoying when, like, you put some food in front of them and they eat it like there's going to be another dog coming around to eat it in a second if they don't inhale it as fast as they can. And so it always looks like their bowl of food's empty because you can never put food in there and have it not stay in there. Like, my old dog, like, we would just put food in his bowl and he would come by and eat some when he was hungry, and when he wasn't, he'd leave it there, and wasn't a big deal to him because he always had food. He wasn't like food insecure or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, some dogs have that food insecurity and they can't help but just, and that's why you get like the 200-pound dog or whatever. Probably not 200-pound, but overweight dog because they just can't stop eating.
Yeah, my dogs are grazers. I mean, you can have food in their bowl all day, and they just go to it as they want. But if you give them any table food, I mean, they just inhale it immediately.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Not to do a Bidenism. I just did a Bidenism. I said, come on, man.
Come on, man.
I've also heard something just about soft bones in general. So even like rib bones and stuff, supposedly you're not supposed to give dogs. And I'm not sure the reason on that because I've never heard of rib bones splintering or anything like poultry bones do.
I've fed dogs rib bones from ribs my entire fucking life, and had no ill effect from it. So
yeah, I say again,
and they love it. They love it usually.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna. Rib bones are fine, like for dogs, as far as I'm concerned. One time, I made spare ribs, and I was like drunk, and I got home from work, and I was drunk, and I was really hungry, and I had some spare ribs in the fridge. And I had to like start cooking them from scratch at like midnight, which if you know anything about spare ribs, they take like 2 or 3 hours. Like you can't just make spare ribs. You got to like slow cook them to melt that fat off because otherwise they're just too gristly. So in that 2 or 3 hour period of time, I went from like hungry to passed out, and I fell asleep on the couch for like 6 hours, and I woke up to the smell of smoke in the apartment because they'd been cooking for like 9 hours at this point. Well, they were like completely fucking powder dehydrated. Like I took them out of the oven and one fell off and it hit the ground and it just like turned to dust. But those were the best dog treats. Oh my God. He loved those things.
So that's technically you made jerky.
Dog jerky. Good job.
Yeah.
Well, you got to cook it low and slow. Like, 250, 300 for a couple hours,
Kent Rollins, dude, I was telling you about, he made jerky and he did it in his home oven. He set it on like 180 degrees and flipped it over once and did it for like 4 hours. I think about trying that.
Where's Raw Feeding? I bet he would have some information on the chicken bones thing.
He is elsewhere, apparently.
Apparently.
That motherfucker.
I mean, like, you're talking his business right there.
That's true.
I gotta go to bed, guys. I've been up since like fucking 7 a.m. So I'll see you guys later.
All right, have a good one.
See ya.
So, Mr. Guns and Barbecue, I've been asking everybody this lately, and I didn't want to, crash your chat and do a bunch of crazy tinfoil hat talk.
He wants to know your penis size.
Metric or standard?
I mean, either.
We need the
He's
queen's
good at
measurement.
math.
We
He'll
need the
figure it
queen's measurement is what we need.
Okay, I was hoping for the queen's measurement because it's a bigger number then.
Okay, I've been asking everybody this, and I'm just interested to know where people in our group, in our circle, who listen to the things and pay attention to the things that we listen and pay attention to are. We are on the Titanic, right? The Titanic is America. The people writing it are the people who are, in America. Have we set sail? Have we gone full speed ahead? Have we hit the iceberg? Are we already sinking? Like, at what point are we at on the Titanic?
I think we're at that point where you got the two guys in the crow's nest, and they're like, we should be paying extra close attention tonight. Could be icebergs out here. I can smell ice. Oh, okay, cool. And we better be on alert and getting ready to start steering the ship evasively.
All right. So you think we have more time than I think we have then? Because I think, full speed ahead was 9/11, right? All engines on full, start spending money and doing all the things that we're doing and bringing people in and yada, 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 9/11. And then I think we hit the iceberg with COVID.
Okay.
And I think that water is rushing into the hole right now. And some people are starting to realize it and starting to go for the lifeboats. There's dudes pumping things underground, realizing that it's not going to keep up with the water and, calling up to the cabin and the captain knows it. And people are still eating in the dining room and not really knowing what's going on though also.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then, because I guess with the way I was thinking about it is once we hit the iceberg, we're done, because there was no saving the Titanic. Even though they thought it was unsinkable, it was going to sink because of design flaws. So in your scenario here, is the Titanic able to be saved?
No.
Or once we hit the iceberg, that's it, we're done?
No, I don't think. I honestly, I've been black-pilled and then white-pilled because of it. It's weird, I know. So I'm black-pilled because the ship, in my opinion, like the Titanic, has major flaws, and as a result of those flaws is going to sink, right?
Yep.
But I'm also white-pilled because I think that if we are careful and plan ahead and survive the sinking of the Titanic, that maybe we can board the Lusitania and sail away. You know what I mean? Maybe we can find another way and rebuild something on a new kind of idea or whatever that works.
And then we get bombed and have World War III start? Because we're on the Lusitania?
I forgot the name of the ship that saved the people. I thought it was Lusitania. You're right. That was... What was the name of the ship that came and saved the people from the Titanic? There was no ship.
I do not remember.
Damn it.
That to save my life.
Yeah, definitely don't want to board the Lusitania. That's although, didn't they find out? Okay, so Germany sunk the captain sunk the Lusitania of the fucking U-boat, saying that there were munitions on board, and that's why they sunk it. And then that was the whole international incident with civilians who died and stuff that led America into the war. Yada yada yada. Well, recently there was a submergible that they sent down to the remains of Lusitania to determine what it looks like. Do you know what they found?
No, I haven't heard about this.
Munitions.
Oh.
Yeah, they were transporting munitions.
But I mean, at that time, I'm not really surprised.
Anyway. Yeah. So what's going on with you, buddy?
Whole lot of nothing. finally getting settled in after the move. By the way, how's my audio? Because every time I come in here, Ray's like, "Why is your audio so low?" I'm like, "I don't know." So I made sure to get everything turned up before I jumped in. But yeah, getting settled in after the move, getting everything set up. Actually have a backdrop now, have a bit of a studio, so that's kind of nice. Trying to do this half-ass professional YouTuber thing. Yeah, just same old. Other than that, kind of boring. I know.
Dude, I was watching this guy Fade to Black, Jimmy Church. He does YouTube, he does radio, he does a whole bunch of stuff all together. And he was walking through his studio. He's got like 4 or 5 different computers all linked together with like all these like electronics and shit and studio lights and cameras. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Like compared to that, I have a computer, I've got a microphone, I've got a camera, which I don't use sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I just don't feel like turning it on. And yeah, like I don't have a mixer, I don't have a fucking any of that shit. Like, do you have all that stuff, Matt, or any of that stuff?
I have all of that stuff.
I've got a mixer.
What good is a mixer?
It just helps your audio. It basically, a mixer replaces your audio card and gives you different functions and different ways to plug in microphones and the ability to use different microphones, higher quality microphones, higher quality headsets, tweak your fucking, everything from, your peak and adjust just all kinds of different shit. Like, and depending on what type of mixer you get, you can adjust levels and treble and bass, and you can do this or whatever the fuck you want. Sorry, do you have headphones on?
I mean, the only thing that I could see,
or I can sound like Night Strike.
In this, you ever hear that show Mission to Zix?
Unlimited power, or whatever. Like I can do different shit with my stuff. So
the only thing that I could really honestly think that I would use it for would be like, I'm screen sharing this thing and here's the audio for it too. That's not over my speaker through my microphone.
Yes, I can do that with my mixer.
Like that's the only thing I wish I could do that I can't do that I would use a mixer for.
Honda, get a mixer.
Apparently I need a generator first.
Why?
Just in case. I don't know.
But I thought you lived in an apartment.
I do.
Where the heck are you going to hook up a generator?
I'm going to put it on the patio and point a shotgun at anyone who tries to touch it.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you had a patio. Yeah, screw it. Get a generator.
Well, it's not my patio per se. It's more of a community patio where everyone's front doors are. Like, honestly, it's not a good setup, but it's better than nothing. Which is, I don't know, like, that's kind of the thing, though. Like, it doesn't really do me much good to have one here if there's people who are going to steal it and there's no way I can hide it,
Like, I guess you could keep it in your apartment and hope you don't die of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Just point it out the window?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're at that point, I mean, is it for a shit hit the fan or just in case you lose power at any time? Because if it's like a shit hit the fan thing at that point, who cares? Knock a hole in the wall and vent it out the hole in the wall. Who cares?
That's true.
But if it's just like, oh, we had a tornado go through and now we're going to be without power for a couple days, probably don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I haven't done it, because it's it's a good amount of money, and like if I had like a bigger condo with a secluded patio that was mine and stuff like that, like it would make more sense. Or if I had my own house or whatever, then I would definitely want to get one.
Well, since you are in a condo, do you know or have you asked if they have any reserve power in case of a power outage? Because I know some places around here actually do keep a large generator in case there is a power outage. That way their tenants still have power. They don't have to worry about food going bad in the fridge or anything like that.
No, I haven't asked about that, but we are on like right next to the hospital, and so like if the power goes out, that's like the first place that they're going to want to bring power back to.
Yes,
I would think.
Yeah, but the hospital also have their own backup generators.
Yep.
But they
So
don't power your shit next door.
No, they do not. But I'm just
But I
saying,
can go there and be like, "Yo, what's up?" Yeah.
Well, and the other problem is, still though, I mean, even though the hospital has backup generators, they run on a limited power function at that point. So their goal is still going to be to get the main power back to the hospital.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's a thought. It's something that is a potential. I don't see how it's going to happen just randomly, though. Like, something has to happen to make that happen. And in Colorado, it's not like, hurricanes come through and fuck us up, or we have big earthquakes or anything. Like, the worst we have is a tornado, and the worst that does is, like, major damage to a small, limited area,
We actually had a tornado rip through here a couple weeks ago. We had tornado watches all day. Then about 10 miles away, there was a small tornado that ripped through, went right over top my cousin's house. Then that night, went to bed. It seemed like all the storms were over. And then the next morning, my other cousin calls me and she's like, how's everything at your place? I'm like, fine. Why? She's like, there is a tornado over on Lyona Road. And I'm like, oh, that's only a couple miles away. Crap. Had no idea. Slept right through it.
Dude, when I was a kid in Iowa, like, it was an afternoon. There was a tornado that came through our neighborhood. And, like, 3 houses down and 5 houses down and 7 houses down. The houses were gone. Like, destroyed to the foundation. Like, people fucking fucked up. Like, all kinds of bad stuff. Everyone in the house freaking out. I was asleep. I slept through the whole thing. I used to sleep like a baby. Now I don't sleep very well. Sucks. Have you ever dealt with a tornado in Texas?
No, never. It's just called Tornado Alley for no reason.
Well, not where you're at, right? Not by the coast.
Not where I'm at now. Where the fuck do you think I grew up?
Houston.
Are you fucking retarded?
Yeah.
How many times have I talked about growing up in Dallas in the middle of fucking
Paso,
Tornado
right?
Alley? You dumb cunt.
You're from Fredericksburg.
Fucking shit.
San Antonio, right?
Jesus, fuck me.
I'm trying to think. Was it Discovery Channel that did a thing about what if an F5 hit Dallas during rush hour? I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting.
I don't know. Like, the number of ways that Dallas can get destroyed compared to the number of ways that Los Angeles can be destroyed, I think you're much safer in Dallas.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, like, Los Angeles, there was some scenario that I was looking at where it's like, oh, if we get a forest fire here and the wind blows this way for a couple of days, it could blow right through the city and straight to the coast and wipe out, like, this like billions and billions of dollars worth of real estate.
Yep. And the worst part is all those scenarios for LA are so much more likely than a tornado of any significant magnitude hitting Dallas. At least, the metro area, downtown. I mean, obviously, Dallas has that potential being in Tornado Alley, but, when you're talking about earthquakes and forest fires and things like that happen all the time in California, much more likely.
So everyone likes to throw around the word phobic, like you're phobic of this and phobic of that. I actually, when I went to the ocean, I found that I had an irrational fear of something. Tidal wave. Like, what if a fucking giant earthquake happens, like, way off, and, like, the chances are fucking nil. Like, it's an irrational fear, obviously, which is the definition of phobic.
Which ocean did you go to?
Oh, well, again, I've only been to the ocean maybe 5 times in my entire life.
Yeah, but which one, Atlantic or Pacific?
Well, I went
Pacific.
Pacific,
Right or left?
Pacific, Gulf Coast, and I've been Atlantic. I've been to all the oceans around us.
All right, well, which one did you realize you had the phobia at?
All of them.
Yeah, but I mean, which one did you go to first and realize you had the phobia?
I guess that would be
Just
Gulf
out of curiosity.
Coast. The Gulf Coast was the first ocean I ever saw.
That could have potentially, been a legitimate fear. There's I can't remember the name of the volcano off the coast of Africa, but the west side of the volcano is extremely unstable, and if it has a significant eruption, the whole west face of the volcano will likely fall into the ocean, and it will create a tsunami that will extend from New York City down to Miami and wipe out the entire East Coast.
Well, all that has to happen is like under the ocean, an earthquake happens, some earth shifts suddenly, like something suddenly drops like 20 feet or rises 20 feet like quickly, just kind of snaps into place. It's like a huge wave comes from that, and it doesn't even like surface until it gets to the coast, and then all of a sudden everyone at the coast gets wiped out by a huge wave. Like, fuck that, dude.
Here's one for you. Doesn't even have to happen in the ocean. There's a lake. It's a pretty good sized lake, I guess, in Alaska, where somebody had gone there, and they're like, it looks like this, was hit by a tsunami, with the way the trees were laid down, things like that. And then they found out there was some large landslide that ended up crashing down into that lake, and like 30, 40 feet up the mountainside, trees were just laid over. It was pretty impressive. And I was like, well, shit, that can happen to a lake. That's nuts.
So there's this volcanic lake in Africa that's like a deep lake, and there's a volcano underneath it that's semi-active that hasn't erupted in a really long time, but it constantly leaks carbon dioxide. Right?
Is this the one that killed all the cows?
Well, it killed an entire village of people, because what happened is it carbonated the entire bottom of the lake, and then there was a tremor, which was like a can of Coke, and you shake it, like all the bubbles come to the surface. Huge cloud of CO2 killed an entire village of people. And these, like, I forget who the story, I forget what it was exactly, but these people came upon the village and they thought there was some plague, and they, called the CDC to come in and like investigate what happened. And yeah, they found out they all died because of carbon dioxide poisoning.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting one. I remember hearing about that one.
And so
it's happened a couple times there.
Well, there's a solution for it though now. They have like this giant straw that reaches down to the bottom of the lake and just sucks up water from the bottom of the lake and shoots it out like a fountain on the top. And it releases carbon dioxide in a little bit at a time when it does that. And so it never builds up to the point where it's a danger. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I think it does it just by pressure too, just by having that straw down there, and the fact that things are like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that part. Maybe there is a motor that does it, but I think that it's just a straw that reaches down to the bottom, and just the pressurized soda water at the bottom just wants to go straight up the straw and shoot to the top. Or I don't know, like when you're cleaning a fish tank or whatever, and you suck through a little bit, or like siphoning gas out of a fucking car, you start sucking it, it just goes, kind of has the momentum, so it continues. Maybe that's it. I'm not sure, but it works.
So, continue on with weird places to have tsunamis. If I remember correctly, back in the 1800s, late 1800s, there was a tsunami in the Mississippi River. There was a massive earthquake that had happened in, I think, Missouri area. And if I remember correctly, they said it actually caused the Mississippi to actually flow backwards for a little while. It was such a powerful earthquake.
When did this take place?
I want to say it was the 1800s. It might have been 1700s, so I don't remember 100% on that.
Yeah, like the largest earthquake in recorded history was Anchorage, Alaska, in like 18-something, I forget, 1880s or something like that. And like completely destroyed everything. You see pictures of it, like one side of the street is like 30 feet below the other side of the street, like that kind of earthquake. Like crazy shit, dude. Like that stuff's coming again, and stuff like that's going to hit California sooner or later. I mean, they're sitting like right on a fault line that's 50 years overdue or 60 years overdue on its like 100-year cycle that it usually has a big earthquake. So the more overdue it is, the bigger the earthquake. Like if it happens quicker, it's a smaller, big earthquake, and if it takes
but with
it's a bigger, big earthquake.
with that, I think they calculated everything. The max that should ever reach is like a 7.5. So that's still nothing compared to that one in Alaska. Or
which was
the
like
one
a
in
9.
Chile.
It was like 9 and 9.8 or something.
I think the one in Chile, not too long ago, was actually a 10. And then there's some pretty big like fuck me ones down in Mexico a few years ago that they reached 9.
Okay, so there was a 9.5. This is according to some earthquake site. 20 largest earthquakes. Number 1 was Valdiva earthquake. I don't even know what that is. I have to Google this. But the number 2 was a 9.2, 1964 Alaska earthquake.
Yep. I think that first one's the one in Chile that I was talking about, which I thought that was a magnitude 10.
There was a Sumatra earthquake in 2004 that was a 9.1. I don't remember that.
Isn't that the one that wiped out Haiti or whatever on Christmas Day with the tsunami?
Okay, so the 1960 earthquake was the Chilean one. That's in Chile. Dude, look at these pictures. Hold on. Oh, is that your only picture? Fuck you. God damn it.
Look at these pictures. Oh, never mind picture.
It seems to me that if you're just standing in the middle of a field, an earthquake's just a fun ride.
I don't know about that because when the ground beneath you starts to liquefy, I would shit my pants.
I mean, unless it opens up like this and the crack is like, 1,000 feet down or something. I guess that happens, doesn't it? Sometimes. I'm not an earthquake expert, obviously.
I know just enough to make it sound like I know something.
Well, it's crazy. You would think like an 8 is like way bigger than a 9, or a 9's bigger than an 8, right? But actually, an 8.1 is twice as strong as an 8. An 8.2 is 3 times as strong as an 8. An 8.4 is 5 times as strong, right?
Yeah, they go up by magnitudes of 100, I think.
Right. So
time.
a 9 is like, yeah, exactly.
Which so the 9, I mean, compared to an 8 is like, holy shit.
Right, and like a 9.4 compared to a 9 is like 4 holy shits.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. Like, I'm sure there's probably been like a 10.0 at some point.
Like I said, I thought that one in Chile was supposed to have been a 10, but obviously you just read it and I was wrong. So
yeah, biggest one's 9.5 on the Richter scale.
Maybe when I was learning about that, maybe it's disputed that it should have been a 10, but they lowballed it or something. Maybe that's why I have that number stuck in my head.
No earthquakes of magnitude 10 or larger cannot happen. The magnitude of an earthquake is related to the length of the fault on which it occurs. The largest earthquake ever recorded was a magnitude 9.5 on May 22nd, 1960 in Chile. The fault is almost 1,000 miles long, a megaquake in its own right. Apparently not. What would a 10 do? A magnitude 10 would likely cause the ground motions for up to an hour. Damn, dude. That's how the Rockies were made, I bet. Like the Colorado Rocky Mountains, there had to be some fucking crazy shit to make those things pop out of the ground.
No, you want to check out how that was made? There's some videos that I watched. I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been National Geographic, but with the way they suspect that the Grand Canyon and everything was made was... I guess that's not the Rockies, is it?
Well, I thought the Grand Canyon was because of the Colorado River. Just
yeah. After I said that, I was like, I'm a dumbass. Sorry. But
more like what you'd have to look at is what happened 13,000 years ago when the like Canada was covered with a mile or more of ice that all melted at the same time. And for some reason, which they think now is because meteors broke up or like a comet broke up, like Shoemaker Levy 9 and hit us like a string of pearls over a couple of decades or like 100 years or 1,000-year period or whatever, that ended up melting a bunch of that ice suddenly. You go to Glacier National Park is where that ice wall broke and like billions and billions of gallons of water fucking spilled over and like cut into the rock faces and made these like sheer cliffs and crazy stuff and land formations that you don't see anywhere else in the world except for right there, because that's where the fucking ice wall broke. It's cool. I've been there. I've seen it.
Yep. Yeah. But for the Grand Canyon, like they believe it was the Colorado River over, tens of thousands, millions of years, whatever. But now they're actually thinking that there is this massive lake up at the top of where the Grand Canyon would start and the Colorado River and whatnot. And there's actually evidence that the lake was there, and eventually it just burst and gave way. And the amount of water that flooded through there is actually what carved out the Grand Canyon. But the amount of time that it actually took to carve the Grand Canyon is far less than they had ever believed before. Like I said, it's pretty neat shit when you start watching that documentary.
Well, people try to think of things in terms of things that they've seen in their lifetime, which often things that they've seen in their lifetime are not in the realm of things that can happen, right?
Yep.
Sometimes something crazy happens, like an ice wall breaks and lets through billions of gallons of water all at once, and it washes away the entire fucking landscape of, Idaho all the way to California and to the coast down to fucking New Mexico, right? Like there's fucking land formations that happen basically overnight because of those floods. And something like, the Grand Canyon, part of it being part of the structure of it being carved out in a like rapid succession, that's the power of water falling, dude. Like that's only one thing that happens on this planet, like sometimes fucking crazy shit happens. And what's weird is like we're the first species that we know of on this planet that has the ability, the forethought, and the tools or whatever to potentially do something to intervene in these like grand cosmic events sometimes, or maybe even planetary fucking tragedies that can happen, like things that happen. We can actually do something about it. But instead of doing something about it, making these big plans, like, hey, like let's actually look out into space and see what the next big rock that's going to hit us is and find it and intercept it and make it stop. We're like arguing about gender roles and fucking racism and bullshit, dude. It's stupid. I don't know.
Yeah, learning about space and how the Earth was formed and all that, much more interesting.
I don't know. I just like I keep thinking like, are we ever going to make it to the Star Trek future that G-Webs always likes to talk about? I'm not sure.
As long as we can finally unlock the alien technology that we have at Area 51, perhaps.
Jose Morga says in Alaska was a 9 when in Alaska was a 9 and it happened in the 50s. That was hard to read. I don't know why. Were you there, Jose? Did you like witness that shit? There was an earthquake in the early 2000s that was a 10, and it was 200 miles beneath granite of mountain. I don't know. I just saw, the USGS. We're looking at it right here. I'm sure there's something before recorded history, though. You know what I mean? That was, like, way bigger than anything anyone's seen. And there's, like, gotta be fucking... There's gotta be something big.
Oh,
yeah, man,
sure.
I'm getting fucking tired and I'm kind of drunk. And it's been 2 hours and 30 minutes, basically. I think we're going to go ahead and end it here. But I do appreciate everyone for showing up tonight. Thanks for being here, Mr. Guns and BBQ. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mr.
appreciate the invite.
I've I've been rather quiet for the last 30 minutes because
Yeah,
I'm getting
you really have.
sleepy. I'm getting tired, okay?
Yeah, me too.
I've been
You
awake since
you
5
ruined the
this morning.
show. You ruined it.
Fuck you. You faggot.
You whispered something and I didn't hear
What?
you.
I'm so what, huh?
What'd you say?
Nothing? What?
He told you to bag it.
Should I suck the outside of the bag?